their 8 games, and not one has had more than 6 wins. In other words, 1st and 13th on the table are separated by just 12 premiership points. And foremost among the big improvers is St Kilda. Under their only premiership captain, Daryl Baldock, the Saints are making giant strides, and the West Coast Eagles learnt at Moorabbin today that Melbourne can be a tough place to survive a wet winter. The other big winner today was Fitzroy, the Bulldogs bringing Melbourne's hot streak to a screeching halt. And the other 2 games on the second day of round 8 were won by the favourites, with Hawthorn continuing its steady improvement after an early season hiccup and Essendon cracking it for its first win in nearly a month. Well, between now and 5 o'clock, we'll be reviewing today's main games, as well as having a look at highlights from last night's clash at the SCG. And after that, it's replay time. Firstly, third quarter action from Princes Park, then to VFL Park for highlights of the second half between Collingwood and Essendon. At about 20 past 6, we'll talk to new state player Peter Foster about the Bulldogs' win at the MCG, and then we go to Moorabbin to see St Kilda grind out its win over the Eagles. But first, back to last night for what was the only round 8 clash of 2 top 5 teams. A replay of last year's first semi-final between the Swans and Fitzroy. The Swans marketing machine billed it as a gladiatorial battle, the Christians against the Lions, and almost 25,000 went to Sydney's Coliseum expecting to see the Lions slaughtered. Early it appeared their prayers would be answered. Kappa from a tight angle. Christians 1, Lions 0. Morwood to Healy.
Open goal coming up for Healy.
Christians 2, Lions 0. Kappa's third goal put the Swans 19 points in front, and the Christians were baying for Lion blood.
Oh, that advantage rule can make it too easy, Kev.
Yeah, there's a fight on in the goal square with Kappa in there and Leon Harris.
But then the script began to follow the course of history a little more closely, with the Lions tormenting their opponents for the rest of the night. Jim Wynn, the littlest Lion, kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. And another of the small Lions with a big bite, Leon Harris, put the Roys 2 goals clear just before quarter time.
Long it goes and bounces through. Brilliant play.
And not only can the Lions bite, they can kick too, as Richard Osborne shows.
Oh, it's a mighty spiral punt. That is a gem.
Fitzroy by 19 points a minute into the second term. But the Christians counter-attacked, and their prayers bore fruit in the form of 3 quick goals. Graham Cordy snatching this one from the Lions' jaws. Togas flapped as the margin was back to 3 points. But like Nero, the Swans fiddled as Rome burnt, and the Lions capitalised with ruthless efficiency.
From 50 metres, great pass to Osborne, who's recovered.
By half-time, their lead had stretched to 19 points. If one Lion had set up the destruction of the Christians, it was Scott Clayton, who eclipsed Greg Williams in the centre. He scrapped, he ran,
them up everywhere and kicks it downfield, and what a fine mark.
He marked,
that ball to the centre of the ground. Clayton, tremendous. What a star he's been.
And he kicked, setting up a great win in one of his best games for Fitzroy. Another low-profile Lion to distinguish himself was Gary Keane, who at centre-half-back marked everything that came his way after half-time and finished his aerial work neatly.
Keane too tall over the top, beats the Browning tackle.
The Lions were now winning almost every duel, and the Coliseum's electronic scoreboard was kept working overtime.
An excellent kick. It's a beautiful kick.
The occasional piece of Christian gallantry, as great as it was,
Stephen White, brilliantly done. A balking, dazzling turn. 65 metres out. 50.
Usually amounted to nothing.
Kicks it badly, too close to the man on the mark. Right to the
29 points down going into the last quarter. Swans' hopes were raised courtesy of the super left boot of Mark Brown.
What a kick!
But Darren Kapler's left boot is also super, and the Lions' jaw remained fixed around its prey.
It's home!
For the Christians, prayer was the only answer, and Warwick Kappa sought to establish direct contact with the Heavenly Master.
Kappa! Well, that's one for the season.
Kappa on his knees, but in an exalted position for the mark of the year so far. But alas, the Christians' prayers would not be answered, and like Sodom and Gomorrah, Sin City was destroyed. Final score, Swans not many, Lions plenty. And the final margin in Fitzroy's favour, 29 points. Tremendous match at the SCG. Hope you enjoyed it on ABC TV last night. Our live VFL coverage continues at 2:10 tomorrow from Carrara, the match between the Bears and the Tigers. Well, there were some super boots in action at the SCG, and there's been one sitting at VFL Park today watching Essendon beat Collingwood by 26 points. I'm referring, of course, to Bernie Quinlan, ABC commentator. And Bernie, it reads, I suppose, as a good but not great win by the Bombers. How did it look?
Well, it was really it was a struggling win from Essendon. They struggled all day to get on top of the Collingwood side. And really, if it hadn't been for Collingwood messing around, playing the ball around in circles in the first half, I think it would have been a much closer result in the end.
The Magpies rallied a bit in the last quarter. Looked as though they might pull off another one of those miracles at VFL Park. Did they ever really threaten to do it?
Yes, they did, Tim. They kicked 4-5 in the last quarter to Essendon's 1-4, and really they had all the play on their forward line in that last quarter up until the last 2 or 3 minutes. But they were threatening. They got to within 19 points at one stage, and really were the much better side in that last quarter. But to Essendon's credit, they really fought on. Their better players lifted, such as Danaher. A young player, Keane, he really played a good game in that third quarter where he had 12 possessions. But it wasn't really a good day for pretty football out at the park, and although the ground looked pretty good, the conditions were pretty greasy.
How did the Bombers' first gamers, Dean Wallace and David Johnston, perform? Catch your eye at all?
Yeah, very well, Tim. They look like they've got a good career ahead of them. Both those players, Wallace and Johnston, did particularly well. And also Barnes up on the forward line, who's also another young player, kicked 3 goals.
Magpies, without Brian Taylor, had only 2 goals at half-time. Sounds a bit like no Taylor, no Collingwood forward line. Well,
they did struggle to get the goals on the board in that first half, but mainly because of their indirect play. They probably had more possessions than Essendon in that first half, but at one stage they got the ball on half-forward line about 50 metres from goal. They kicked it across to the other side of the ground and ended up 60 metres from goal. So that's just an indication of how indirect they were. Their handball was terrible. They missed the target on about 85% of the occasions that they did try to handball to a teammate. But they tried hard. The things that let them down, I think really their inexperience told on the day. But really in the second half, when Mullane went to full forward, they looked a much better side. And on a day like this, when conditions are pretty greasy, it's not much point in having a really tall player down on the forward line, because it was very difficult to take the high mark. And Mullane kicked 4 goals in that second half. And when you consider they only kicked 2 goals in the first half, and they kicked 8 goals in the second half. So really, Mullane made all that difference when he went down on that forward line. 400%
difference, I think that is a rough calculation. The Bombers then, 26-point winners, but it's their first win for nearly a month and not one that really has convinced you that they're back yet.
No, I suppose they'd be happy with the win, but really there's still a lot of question marks over the Essendon side. They're nowhere near the side they were about 2 or 3 years ago when they were at their peak. And a lot of their players really, they're not performing up to their top.
OK, thanks very much, Bernie Quinlan. We'll go down to the dressing rooms now, where Mark Thompson, Essendon defender and stalwart of their premiership years, is with Ian Robertson. So let's hear what he's got to say.
Mark, a tremendous performance. I guess that you'd be fairly satisfied, even though you're led by big margins at varying stages, to still win the game?
I think it's very important just to win any game. You know, the way that their young blokes fought it out to the end, and the way we sort of held on, I think it was a good exercise just to get out of it with the points.
Well, early on it was a desperate struggle. At like a quarter time it was only, say, 2 goals to 1, and at half time both sides had only managed 6 goals. And in the third quarter, Essendon just seemed to get that run-on game going and loose man. Yeah. What do you attribute that to?
Well, the start of the game, the sort of the balls, and well, we just started the game and just to get used to the wet weather conditions. And I think by half time we warmed up and we've had a hard week on the track, and you just get your legs going a bit. I think the third, we had a bit of a talk at half time what we had to do, and the boys really applied themselves, and we had a good third quarter.
Were the conditions difficult?
Yeah, it's probably the first time we've actually played in them sort of conditions with the ground. A lot of rain during the week, and the grounds are really slippery. The ball gets a bit heavy, and you sort of got to get your hands behind the ball more, and yeah.
That's very frustrating, obviously, and even the umpires, I thought, were frustrated in that first half anyway.
Oh, it's just, it's probably the first time they've umpired in wet conditions too,
And your younger players, I was just talking to you before we came on camera about Wallace playing his first match, Johnston and Keane, who's played perhaps 8 or 10 games, all did well?
Oh yeah, they did really well. You know, the thing about them, they just never give up, you know, and a few of the older blokes just loping around. You get these young blokes in and they seem to fire the older ones up, which is what we need at the moment. It's really good today the way they performed.
And I did ask you a question about Kevin Sheedy. He's been here for 6 years, this is his 7th year. You mentioned about players taking training in the morning. Is this something to try and instill a little bit of enthusiasm, like we're coming up towards the halfway mark of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just a blend between, like, we've got a lot of new young kids around the club, and actually one of them's taking training with Billy tomorrow, and it's just something to get the boys together and just to try and sort of get the enthusiasm back to the club, and that'll be good.
Well, the spirit appears pretty good in the rooms after a victory against Collingwood. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Well, the Bombers have been waiting a while for that 4th win, 4.5 wins from 8 matches, so they're on the right side of the ledger, but a fair way for Kevin Sheedy and his Bombers to go yet in 1987, but plenty of time to do it. Well, now out to Princes Park, where it seems that the Cats have a long way to go. They've tantalised their supporters over a couple of weeks this season, but when it comes to the crunch, they haven't really produced the goods. Well beaten by Carlton last week, and in another big test today, comprehensively outclassed by Hawthorn to the tune of 47 points. And Big John Nichols out at the ground that he used to rule. Princes Park has been watching it. Big Nick, no Damien Burke, no Geelong?
No, I wouldn't say that altogether. That Geelong were just dismal. Damien Burke's replacement in Daryl Baldock played very well. I felt he won the ruck nearly all the first half and faded a bit in the second half, but had a great battle with Greg Deere. But I think overall it wasn't Flanagan's fault they got beaten by such a big margin.
Did those sharp-shooting forwards of theirs have opportunities and not make the most of them, or did they just die of starvation, not getting the opportunities?
Well, Ablett started on the wing. I think at the 18-minute mark of the first quarter, he was, he was playing on Dipper for a while and on Russo, and then he got shifted back to full forward at about the 90-minute mark and kicked a goal. But he kicked four for the game, but really didn't have a lot of influence on it. And the same with Linda. Linda was lost, but no, it was all over. Hawthorn were just Hawthorn were in front all day. They teamed better. They kicked a lot better. Geelong passed the ball atrociously all day.
That Brownlow medalist you referred to, the Big Dipper, was reported, I understand. What happened?
Well, it's hard to see. It was certainly a scramble on the ground, and Dipper and 2 or 3 other players were on the ground and down the other end. So watching the replay, we couldn't really see anything significant, but he played pretty well, Dipper, all the same, even though he was taken off in the last quarter. I think probably more to give him a rest than anything else.
Well, the Hawks had that hiccup, lost a couple of matches, struggled home against Fitzroy, lost against the Swans, making 3 losses out of 4. What did you think about them today?
I don't really think I'd be prepared to pass, complete judgment on them today, because Geelong was so bad. I don't think Hawthorn, like listening to Robbo talking about Essendon, I don't think Hawthorn are within 3 or 4 goals of their best from last year, but they're gradually getting there and they're still winning. So, and whilst they've got, Dunstall kicking 7, Brereton looked much better today. He's much faster, sharper. He looked more of the Dermot Brereton we knew of 2 or 3 years ago today, and when he's in that mood, he's obviously a dangerous player for them.
We're about to go down to their rooms and talk to Rodney Eade. How did he perform? Rod Eade,
yes, played very well. Still, the way Hawthorn bring the ball out of their back line with their running, they taught Geelong a lesson. All their players runs in 2, 3, 4 and Rocket early, and as the game went on, he was the link man. He created a lot of breakaways and attack into the forward line for them.
Okay, thanks Big Nick. We'll go down to the Hawthorn rooms now and hear from the man himself, Rod Eade.
Rod, they've just been talking about your form. Tim and John upstairs, you must be very happy with your contribution to a good Hawthorn win today.
Yes, Peter, I was a bit disappointed last week. I had an average day, but up to that stage I've been fairly happy, and fortunately everything turned out all right.
What about the team performance? Signs there that things are starting to now roll for you after a disappointing run of losses. Is some of that grand final form coming back?
I think so. Now, we've had the endeavour the last 3 or 4 weeks. Against Fitzroy we didn't play that well, but fortunately we got out of the game with 4 points. Last week it started to come back a little bit. I thought we played a lot better last week than did against Fitzroy. And I think today was another 10 to 15% improvement, so I think it's slowly coming back.
Alan Jeans has been asking for an improvement in the speed with which you're moving the ball. That seemed evident, especially in that first quarter when you really got the jump on Geelong, and that was it after that.
Yeah, up the probably last couple of weeks, we'd been sort of stagnant there. You know, with the ball, we'd take a mark and go back and have a kick, and there'd be no movement. But over the last couple of weeks, he's emphasised that, and they're slowly coming back into the game.
Must be pleasing for you when you do get the ball down forward to know that forwards like Jason Dunstall and Dermot Rarrant are going to hold the marks and then go on and kick the goal. A fine dual performance from them today.
Yes, they're very good. Jason's a very strong marker, and so is Dermot. Dermot's had a bit of a downer so far this year, but he came back with a bit of form today. And they've got blokes like Russell Morris and Peter Curran as well who can take good marks. That's good.
The reason they did take those good marks up forward, it was said that the conditions wouldn't suit your high-flying forward line, and yet they've proved everybody wrong. In fact, the whole team handled the ball like it was a dry one today.
Yeah, I don't think the ground was as wet as what we expected. I thought it'd be waterlogged, but it wasn't that bad. But the blokes played in front and they sort of marked well, so that was good.
All right, congratulations on your part, Rod, today, and the Hawks on a fine 47-point win.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks very much.
Peter G with Rod Eade in Hawthorn's winning rooms out at Princes Park. The Hawks, as Peter said, by 47 points. And let's wrap up the winners in the 4 match played on the second day of round 8. Remembering that last night Fitzroy beat the Swans by 29. Essendon by 26 points at VFL Park against Collingwood. Hawthorn by 47. Footscray turned the tables on Melbourne for a 24-point win. And St Kilda, the happiest team no doubt of the day, they're second in a row. A while since they've won 2 in a row, and big winners they were by 8 goals over the highly fancied West Coast Eagles at a wet Moorabbin, and a replay of that coming up shortly before 6:30. And among the goals today, in the heavy conditions, Dunstall and Lockett both kicked 7. Brereton got 6, so the Hawthorn forward line with a double edge, and Simon Beasley kicked 5 for Footscray, kicked their first 3 and got them to a flying start. Well, time for our first replay. It comes from Princes Park, the Hawks against the Cats. They've had a few great battles out there, remembering the famous or infamous one of a couple of years ago with the famous Lee Matthews, Neville Bruns incident. Well, today a bit quieter than that, although the Brownlow medalist Dipia Domenico was reported in the first half of the match. Our action comes from the second half. We join it at the first bounce thereof. Hawthorn in front by 20 points, and our commentators are Peter G, Kevin Bartlett and John Nichols.
Blast from the siren. And Geelong looking to get back into the game. Perfect bounce. Deere wins the tap. And it's Hawthorn into attack straight away, up towards half forward. Dunstall, great mark! Jason Dunstall wrestled clear of Cleve, who was holding him back, and still took the mark, and will line up directly in front for his 4th. He may have slightly winded himself there after taking his 3rd mark of the afternoon. There'll be nothing stopping him from having this shot at goal. 5th kick coming up from Dunstall, so from limited opportunities, made the most of them. So Hawthorn, 45 seconds after the restart, get their 9th goal, and they go to 26-point leaders. 4 goals for Jason Dunstall. And the Hawks pretty satisfied with the start to the 3rd quarter.
Yes, watching the replay, a hit out to Deere, coming through brilliantly by Darren Pritchard, a long bomb into the forward line, and a brilliant diving mark by Dunstall, once again playing in front.
It was a belly landing, wasn't it? The landing gear wasn't down, and he bounced a few times. It was a terrific mark.
Lucky it was a little bit damp.
Well, he's got a bit of padding there, so that's all right.
And Deere wins the tap out again. Collins tried to juggle it with one hand. Bright, the veteran, playing in defence, but was the Cats' leading goal kicker in 1980-81. Kicked 59 goals in 48, quite a number of years ago now, as we see. Deere, top one high, not paid by the umpire. Dipia Domenico with a quick kick to the half-forward flank. The Cats, Boss, couldn't quite get the run of the ball, taps it out to Bruns. A lot of hoots today for Bruns, unnecessarily hooting too, as we see Morrissey take the mark on the half-forward flank. And Morrissey, a very good player in the first half, 10 possessions. And Morrissey with a whack behind the ear with a 15-metre penalty. Kicks towards centre half forward. Dunstall's the target, too strong for Cleve. John Devine may have to start looking to make a move, because Dunstall now is lining up for goal number 5. 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the second, and 1 in the opening minute of the 3rd quarter. Former Queenslander moves in, only 25 metres out. It's a shocking kick. 1 point.
Yes, it was very un-Dunstall-like, because he's normally such an accurate kick, but he didn't quite get his balance, went too close to the man on the mark and had to stab at the finish.
Call from Brighty, for Brighty. It comes from Bairstow, who in the end ended up not going for the mark and trying to knock it away, and Dunstall's taken it over the boundary line. Half-forward flank throw-in for Hawthorn. Morris against Flanagan. Flanagan wins the tap, taken by Kennedy, out on the full. He wanted to get the handball away, but he was being hemmed in by Buse, and so the free kick will go to Geelong's Exel. Should have used the left foot, no, the right foot, I think, that chap up in the stand. Now it comes back to Exel. Right, not that accurate with his pass either. Finally, Gavin Exel's got it in the back pocket. He goes towards Flanagan. Darren was the call from Geelong teammates behind the pack. Dipieta-Manico goes high. Brownless for Geelong. Spoilt by Brereton. Tries to get the handball out. It's back with Brownless. He's keeping the ball there. Now it's Boss for Geelong. Quick kip in the direction of Couch. Down on the ground, Flanagan gets it towards the centre. Schultz in front position. Beaten for it by Abbott. Handball across to Collins. Back he goes. Kick forward towards Kennedy in the pocket. Exel over the boundary line. It's got down there by Jenke. And a free kick going to Exel. He'll take it in the back pocket.
And Gavin Exel from Bendigo in his first year of league football. 10 possessions in the first half with that left foot up towards Brownless, and Brownless marks on the half flank on that 50-metre mark. Plays on quickly. Kicks up towards Turner, who's been well beaten by Jenke today. And Jenke takes the mark. Kicks towards centre half forward. He's looking for Brereton's the target up high. And Brereton, magnificent mark, always wants to play on quickly. And Dermott there. Mark number 6 drives forward, and Dunstall once more in front of Cleve. And I'm certain the move has to be made, because Dunstall is so dangerous. 3 marks this quarter to Jason Dunstall. 4 goals on the board, and he missed a sitter from 25 metres out. He's already kicked the opening goal of the quarter, and Dunstall moves in. That's a better kick. Straight through the centre, and Jason Dunstall, 5 goals, 1. So he's had the kicking boot on today. 2 goals this quarter, 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the second. And John, it does look ominous that a move has to be made.
Yes, certainly Cleve has been playing behind. He's not strong enough. Watching Brereton there, taking a good mark. Good long pass. Dunstall once again leading in front of Cleve. A poor attempt to spoil. And certainly a very dangerous player, Jamin Dunstall.
33-point lead for the Hawks as quick kick from Hughes off the ground from Couch. Gets it up to half forward, but Eade's there for Hawthorn. Beaten by the sliding Scott between the legs. He gets it to Linda. Appeals for the free and gets it. Did that very well, Bruce Linda. Didn't take possession and was retarded. Made it look even better. And he's within scoring range. 45 metres out from goal. Linda goes long. Has it got enough length? It has. Answered quickly that last Hawthorn goal by Linda, his second of the afternoon, and comes up at the 6.5-minute mark of the third quarter.
And his 29th goal for the year.
Probably a little lucky to get the infringement free kick, but still he capitalised on it. Greg Deere has got back on top of Flanagan in the ruck, which is interesting because Flanagan won almost every time in the first half.
And the knockout once more. Kennedy out to Dipieta-Manico, tries to shrug off Christensen. Comes to Platten. Platten now from that square, kicks long, and it's going to be a kick downfield. And once again, Dunstall will receive the free kick. Umpire Howlett indicates he was hanging on to Dunstall. And Dunstall already 2 goals in this quarter. Schultz it was, I'm sorry, hanging on to Dunstall. And Dunstall on a 45-degree angle moves in. And that brings up his 6th goal and his 3rd goal for the quarter. And Hawthorn, at the 5-minute mark of the third quarter, moved to 11 goals, 5, 71 to Geelong 62-38. A 33-point lead to Hawthorn. They're led by 38 points at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, 32 points at quarter time, 19 points at half time, and now they've lengthened that lead to 33 points. The centre of the ground once more.
So Flanagan to do the ruck work for Geelong, and he wins this time against Deere. Couch gets it forward, but only as far as Morris. Handball's on to Platten. Kick towards the open territory of the wing. Brereton again leading. Picks it up nicely. Brownless pressuring him, but the handball back inboard. Morrissey's handball across to Loveridge. Bombs it high. Looking for a mark from Morris. Knocked away there by Bright. Taken by Russell to Brownless. From a standing start, pops the pass across, and it's taken by the diving Bairstow. Now it's Couch. Couch for Geelong. Just into the defensive half. Buse down the wing he goes. Gets shepherding from Scott. Buse goes towards Linder. Shields his eyes from the sun. Has it knocked away from him by Langford. Turner can pick it up. Desperate defence from Di-Domenico sliding in. The two number 9s get off the ball and allow the bounce half-forward flank for Geelong. The sun comes out. It's not shining on the Cats at the moment, though.
And Turner not having a good day. 22 goals for the season, but none against his name today, as we see Bruns with a quick kick out of the pack. Ablett there, pushed in the back by Mew, not paid by the umpires. Loveridge once more drives by back to the centre wing position, and Flanagan up high takes the mark. Bright keen for the hand pass, but Flanagan decides to show some pace. Kicks long. And great play by Flanagan, because Linder has marked. It was good play by the big fella. Bright was keen for the hand pass, but Flanagan elected to accelerate himself, and it was a lovely kick to Linder. 2 goals next to his name.
Russell was nearly keener to take the mark too. I thought there was going to be a real collision.
Linder kicking from 25 metres out, 45-degree angle, moves in, across the face of goals, and one behind. A bad miss. Cats need every goal. 11-5, 71 the Hawks. Geelong 6-3, 39, and we've played 10 minutes into this third quarter.
32 points the difference. Ball put back into play to Langford, who will continue from half back. Drives over the wing now towards Morris. Beautiful pass. Again, the Hawthorn forwards in front. Morris wasting no time. Goes long, all Geelong, and Buse has got the mark. Half back, he goes straight across ground to where Flanagan's making position. Exel now. Geelong moving play up the wing. Turner's behind. Hawthorn get in each other's way. Free kicks going to Jenky. I don't know what for. Mew was the one that perhaps infringed against him. Pritchard hands off to Eade. The two Tasmanians towards the pocket, looking for Kennedy. Hands down there to Curran. This is almost ours up here in commentary position. Going for game 404.
I nearly marked that.
He nearly got that, Kevin Bartlett. It's a free kick down here for Andrew Buse.
And Buse has been a very good player, had a shadowing role today on Platten, who's also has done well, but he's coming up for kick number 11, Andrew Buse, roving and playing out of the back pocket, favours the torpedo punt, up to the half-back flank, but too tall. In front, Greg Deere takes the mark. Deere onto that left boot, and Morris, too far underneath the ball, punched away by Bright. Morris showing great courage there, dives on top of the ball, and umpire Mitchell says there was no attempt to knock the ball out, and the free kick will go to Bright. And Schultz now has been moved down onto Dunstall, and Cleve has been moved away as from the back pocket once more. Buse on the run, a poor kick. Geelong's kicked poorly all day, and Di-Domenico thumps the ball back, and playing in front, a good mark to Mark Boss. Boss on the half-back flank. Member side went to pass to Flanagan, kicks towards the centre of the ground. It's a dangerous kick, looking for Couch. He's going to be under tremendous pressure from Collins. Dragged to the ground, Collins over the top. Comes out to Boss. Collins copped one in the face from the boot as he kicks up to the half-forward flank. Turner's in front, and Jenky's wearing him like a glove. It's been there all day, but this time Turner takes the free kick. The former Geelong skipper, 84, 85, 86, coming up for only his 5th kick, and he drives towards the centre of the ground.
And a chip from Couch to Buse. They've gained no distance, the Cats. In short, Over the head of Cleve, Linda did that well. He lost possession, wanted the free kick, it wasn't there. John Devine. Not on the phone as we usually see the coaches. He's got Dave Whedon, seconds coach from last season, beside him. Both of them looking movable at the moment and not very happy. Abbott did that well out to Langford. Still got his kick, only as far as Christensen from 50 metres. Too long. Eade spoiled it. Russell couldn't get his kick. Eade got the tackle in. It was great football. And Russell, trying to get the boot to it, held it too long. And Eade, after spilling the mark, has made amends.
32 points, the Hawks lead at the 13-minute mark of the third quarter, and Rocket Eade from defence drives the ball back towards Morris. Morris takes the ball, quick hands out towards Langford. Langford takes his time, kicks long, looking for Platten, but Curran over the top takes the mark in front of Boss. Curran on the 50-metre line, kicking down towards the Robert Heatley stand. Two goals in the opening quarter to Curran as he moves in. Drop punt, it's going to drop short on the goal line. The high flyers and punched through by Schultz. As the umpire has his hat lost, had his foot caught. Jason Dunstall was standing on his foot, no wonder he couldn't move.
Terry Bright's going to stand on his hat, I think. No.
And Bright favours the member side flank. Looking for Bairstow, but Curran taps the ball out intelligently to Platten. Platten to Loveridge. Loveridge with that quick kick, always quick onto his boot. Dunstall from behind, but Brereton over the top. 2 against 1, and Brereton has marked in the goal square. 7 marks to Dermot Brereton. 2 goals. Kicked 1 in the first and 1 in the second, and certainly looks like kicking 1 in the third. Coming up for kick number 7. Dermot Brereton. 8 goals in the 1985 grand final. Best and fairest also in 85 as Brereton moves in and makes no bones about it. Straight through the centre, and Hawthorn kicking away from Geelong at the 15-minute mark of the third quarter. 12-6-78 to the Cats. 6-3-39.
Yes, great mark. Watching the ball coming in now. Brereton having a fly over the top. Dunstall in front, but Brereton the great ride. And looking at the 12 goals that Hawthorn's kicked between Dunstall 6, Brereton 3 and Curran 2, certainly just illustrates just how important they are to their forward line.
And people said prior to today's match with the rain falling that those high flyers would have their normal effect on the game. Well, that hasn't been the case. The rain has only been with us a short time. Bright with that high tackle takes the free kick to the wing. Roving Morrissey. Left foot swing towards half forward. Platten arrives too late. The boundary line wins out, just bouncing inside the playing arena. So a throw in. Midway between wing and half forward for Hawthorn. They lead by 39 points, their biggest lead of the match so far. Flanagan taps it down. We'll have to try and put it to more effect this time. So Ruckman will have to work again. Past the halfway stage of the third term. And Geelong really have to get moving now if they're going to get back into this match. Flanagan against Kennedy. Nice tap from Flanagan to Bruns. High kick. In comes Cleve trying to knock it away. Well, it was an ineffectual attempt. I think trying to tap it to someone. Abbott's handball to Deere. Put him under pressure. Wrestled forward by Couch for Geelong. Loveridge. Out to White. Tuck did it well. White still battling though. A bounce centre wing.
Ball up to take place. Scrambly passage of play. Flanagan in the ruck. Deere winning the ruck in this third quarter. To Bruns. Bruns with a quick kick back to that half-forward line, but playing in front is Morrissey, who's played a great game today. Across that half-back line. James Morrissey. Kicks down towards Curran there. Juggles the mark. Couldn't take it. Excel. Onto that left boot quickly, up towards centre half forward. Playing in front was Turner, punched away by Jenke. Touch. Out wide, here's a chance for Linda now with a ball bounce kindly. Linda picks up, twisting in that pocket. It's a great snap by Linda, and he's popped it through for goal number 3. And that brings the Cats that little bit closer. at the 17-minute mark of the third quarter. And Hawthorn 12-6, 78. Geelong 7-3, 45.
Yes, watching Linda in the run for the ball, a bit fumbly, but stepped around Morrissey quite well and snapped a valuable goal. They're still 30-odd points behind. They just cannot see them getting back into the game unless they lift their game dramatically, because Hawthorn are still in front most of the day.
Flanagan down for Buse, being helped by Scott, ridden down there by Deere. High kick, play on was the call. Christensen did it nicely to Boss. Boss towards half forward. Turner, front position. Good pressure by Jenke. In fact, he got to his back because the umpire. So Turner has the free kick. Will have to come back behind Jenke on the mark. Midway between wing and half forward. Sixth kick for Michael Turner. Goes in the direction of Ablett. Has to stop, go back in it and take the chest mark. Oh, he's pretty hard to move, Ablett. Held his ground well. Hugged the ball to the chest. His fifth mark of the afternoon. And can he follow up that Lindner goal with a quick one? 10th kick coming up for Ablett, as usual. He takes plenty of time over it. Ablett, just a slight angle. He begins the run in on the 50-metre line. No mistake from Gary Ablett. So 2 quick goals from Geelong. Marty Christensen pretty happy about it. 3 for Gary Ablett.
Yes, he may have been a bit lucky to get away with blocking Deere coming in. He had the front spot and he got the Hawthorn player very well, and valuable goal just to keep it within slight touch.
And the Cats 27 points down at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter. The bounce of the ball, and once more it's Deere with a thump forward. Here's a chance for Bairstow. Ball comes out to Buse. Buse can't win control. Stoneham on the ground, and a ball up will take place. Centre wing position, outer side of the ground. The Cats kicking down towards the main scoreboard. Flanagan this time wins the tap, but taken by Platten. His kick's been smothered. Once more a bounce. 27 points the difference in favour of the Hawks. They're led by 19 points at half-time, and Flanagan once more. Couldn't quite get a decisive knockdown. Collins out of the pack. Morrissey taps the ball along the ground. That's the Hawthorn style of play. Christensen's been caught, but umpire Howlett said no chance to dispose of it. Centre wing position. On the edge of the square, decides to toss the ball up. And a free kick has been plucked out of this. And it goes to Big Deere. And Dwayne Russell throws the ball away, and a 15-metre penalty. Brings Deere down towards the edge of the centre square. Hawthorn kicking down towards the Robert Heatley stand, and Deere with the left boot, looking for Brereton from behind. Couldn't take it this time. Dunstall tried to kick it off the ground. Buse, hands and knees, thrown to the ground, and once more a ball up 25 metres out from the Hawks' goal.
Scott and Platten roll off it. Chance for the Hawks here to get one of those Geelong goals back. Flanagan against Kennedy. Flanagan wins it. Brereton's wrestles it clear. Gets it out to Pritchard. Quick left foot kick towards Eade and Scott. Scott knocks it away. And finally over the boundary line. Throw in. Forward pocket for Hawthorn. They lead by 27 points. We've played 22 minutes into the third term. Kennedy wins it. Brownless couldn't gather it in. Brereton very quick. The rugby scrum moves forward Geelong's way about 5 metres. That's Flanagan who'll do the ruck work there. He and Brereton share a little joke. I don't know if Flanagan saw the funny side of it. He was on the bottom of the pack. He's now in the air but doesn't make contact. Bruns gets the kick forward. Chance for Morrissey. Now Geelong's Lindner again appeals for the free. Umpire says it came off a Footscray boot on the full. So a free kick for Bruce Lindner. Half-back flank for Geelong.
and he's roaming wide because he's kicked 2 goals in this quarter. And Linda this time goes towards the centre ground. It's a poor kick and sets up Christensen, and Di Domenico takes the mark. Plays on quickly, and Brereton yards in front of Brownless. Marks 45 metres out. Dermot Brereton, 3 goals next to his name, 1 in this quarter as he moves in. A drop punt. And he's split the centre, and Dermot Brereton brings up goal number 4, his second for the quarter. That's 6 goals to Jason Dunstall, 4 to Brereton and 2 to Curran, and their key forwards are ripping the Geelong defence apart.
Yes, I'd say that John Devine has very little other alternatives either. He's tried swinging him round. Brownless probably isn't quite suited to Brereton, but he hasn't got many other things he can do.
Centre square infringement against Geelong. So the free kick goes to Deere. That's all they need, the Cats. Deere's fine left foot torpedo punt. Too long, in fact, for Curran, and the mark's been taken by Boss.
And a strong mark, that too, because he really stood his ground.
Mark Boss. Kick number 12. Doesn't take it. Handballs instead for Exel. He can go over the top to Bruns, but kicks instead, and Bruns lets him know he wanted it too, because the kick has gone straight to Abbott. He has it on centre wing, squares. Platten leaves it because he got pulled from behind from Kennedy. Kennedy's a good talker. He gives it across to Tuck. Tuck into the pocket, Bruns. Now it's Brereton. Caught. No time to get rid of it. Now passes, it's in the back. Well, a little unlucky, Bruns. Brereton does his push-up. Bruns exasperated. So Dermot Brereton, as Bruns goes back to pick up a man. Brereton, 4th kick of the quarter. 2 of those have been goals. This one from 50 metres would be a beauty from the boundary line. Let's see what those green boots can deliver. Plenty of height, not enough distance, but it gives the forward a chance. All fly, no mark for Deere. Boot off the ground from Curran. There's a behind. Just touched, I think.
Well, the Hawks really made the jump in the first quarter with 6 goals to 1. The Cats whittled that away to a 20-point margin at half-time, but then Hawthorn making it safe in the third term when they kicked 5-3 to 3-1, started the last quarter 34 points in front, won the match by 47 in front of a very poor crowd of just over 9,500 at Princes Park. 7 goals to Dunstall, 6 to Brereton, 13 of 17 from those 2 key forwards, and for the Cats, Ablett and Lindner kicked 7 out of their 10, 4 to Ablett and 3 to Bruce Lindner. Well, coming up, more 90 minutes more football in our Football Grandstand this Saturday night, and after that, ABC National News at 7 o'clock, and delivering the goods at 7 will be Edwin Marr, who has the headlines.
I do indeed. Thanks very much, Tim. Well, the leader of Fiji's military coup, Colonel Rabuka, today warned that unless the Governor-General legitimises his regime, he will move to make Fiji a republic. Colonel Rabuka also warned he will not tolerate industrial strikes or business shutdowns. And in Perth, the Prime Minister, Mr Hawke, has ruled out any possibility of Australian military intervention in Fiji, saying he'll continue to bring pressure on the leaders of the coup. In other news tonight, animal rights activists protest against the Toxicology Centre at Werribee, and we'll also have background to New York's Hollywood love goddess, Rita Hayworth, who died today. The details at 7.
Tonight, live from London's Wembley Stadium, the sporting event of the year, the FA Cup Final. Played before an estimated worldwide audience of over 500 million people, the mighty Tottenham Hotspurs will battle it out against newcomers Coventry for soccer's most sought-after trophy. ABC Sports' Peter Wilkins will analyse the teams, their form and their chances for success in a preview prior to kick-off. The FA Cup Final, live tonight on ABC.
It's not a bad game. I think I might stay up and watch at least the first half, see how we go. Australian football time, though, and now to VFL Park, where great rivals over many years, Collingwood and Essendon, went in, both hungry for victory. Both had had just 3 wins so far, although the Bombers, with that draw at Windy Hill against Geelong, were 2 points clear of their black and white rivals. But certainly the first 7 rounds of this 87 season, less productive for both than they would have hoped at the outset. Well, the first half of the match was very unproductive for Collingwood, just 3 scoring shots during a miserable first 2 quarters, and at half-time the Bombers had set up a 27-point lead. We joined the action 7 minutes into the third term. Collingwood have cut the margin to 19 points, and our commentators at VFL Park, Drew Morford, Ian Robertson and Bernie Quinlan.
6-4. Francis kick in for Danaher. He's been pretty quiet, the skipper, but he gets a free this time. They're allowed to play on. It comes up the ground to Keane, further afield to Foles, chased by Rosonico. Foles did it well, slipping and sliding like it's an ice rink. Brown gets the hand pass away. Shaw under the pack again. Duckworth there, gets it out, Merritt fumbles. Brown once more, followed by Hawker. Umpire calls for it and will ball it up for the umpteenth time today. 6-4 plays 3-3, and it's a revived-looking Collingwood at the moment.
I think perhaps a little bit of respect from Roger Merritt to Tony Shaw there as he tapped him on the back. Cloak spent nearly all of the first half on the bench, now doing the ruck work. Keane. Oh, good play by Troll. It comes out to Ryan. Ryan to Filkey, and the Collingwood team looking a little bit better. Filkey to centre half forward. Oh, good mark taken by Bomber Thompson at half back for Essendon. He kicks it quickly out towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Here's a chance for young Wallace. Wallace up to half forward. Loose player there for Essendon. Folds. He's got 15 metres. A chip in short. Hawker inside the 50-metre line. Decides to go back. No, he doesn't. He kicks another short one into the pocket, and Folds has run on. After giving the ball to Hawker, he's now on the end of the Hawker pass, only 30 metres out, on a fairly difficult angle, but a chance to kick Essendon's 7th goal, and he'd prove on his tally. He's already kicked 1 goal. Distance not a problem for Gary Folds. Not a bad looking kick. Goal umpire moves across slightly, but it's through the centre. And 7 goals on the board to Essendon. They're 7-4-46. They lead by 25 points. Collingwood 3-3-21, and we're nearly 9 minutes into the third quarter.
And he's the first player in the match to kick 2 goals. We've had 10 goals scored. A steadier there for the Bombers, but they've still got a bit of a threat coming here from Collingwood. Turner, well gathered. Oh, spins out of 2 tackles. Beautiful. Well played, Jamie Turner. Long to full forward. Mullane backs into Francis. But Francis backed up by Bailey, and he sees it out. Good coverage by Dean Bailey.
Boundary throw-in some 30 metres around from Collingwood's goal. Chance for Essendon to break clear. Good interception by Atkins. Kick around the corner. Clean bowl Starkovic. Francis backs up and does it well. Left foot kick to half-back. Will be marked by Cloak. He plays on. Handball to Rosonico. Back to Cloak. Crashes his way through. Still gets the kick away. No mark taken in the square. Here's a chance for Collingwood off the ground. Just misses. Mullane it was, and perhaps Glenn Hoddle may have been a better advantage player in a Collingwood jumper.
There goes Winton, out wide to Walsh. Haven't seen a lot from the Essendon Stars today. Here's Hawker going for a gallop, and he can touch it down a few more times if he likes. Up to half forward already, Danaher. Good running by Hawker. He'll go for the goal himself. Just misses. Well, that's a little bit more like it. Didn't really see a first half from Glenn Hawker. That was the sort of play we should see from their best and fairest winner. Danaher a bit down. And when you consider that Harvey, Madden and Vanderhaar played in the 2s, well, they're really blooding some youngsters at Bomberland.
Keys kicked the ball in. Turner off the ground at half-back. Chance for Keane. Gets the hand pass away. Johnston. Left foot kick to half forward's a good one, and Elshaw takes the mark. A little bit of space, turns and kicks long towards the full forward area. Mark should be paid to Harrington, it is. And Tim Harrington in his first match for his new club, former North Melbourne fullback, now playing for the Magpies. Kicks the ball towards the centre wing area. Cloak with strength over Salmon. Feeds the handball wide. Christian, he looks further afield. Turner into the pocket. It's a high ball, no mark taken. At the bottom of the pack, Dixon. Not a bad kick by Dixon into the pocket. There's a chance for Filkey. He's still after it, throwing the ball. The umpire couldn't see it. Too many players between him and that contest. Umpire Robinson decides that he should bounce the ball about 40 metres around from the Collingwood goal. 7-5 Essendon, lead Collingwood 3-4, 12 minutes into the third quarter.
Starcevic wins a big one. Mullane, great hands, great snap, what a goal!
Magnificent goal, magnificent. And Lee Matthews has pulled a few changes here at the start of the second half. Here we see Mullane again though, up on the forward line. He's been moved from the wing. He had no time, didn't even have a chance to look at the goals, but he snapped a brilliant 40-metre leftward goal.
One gets the impression he may be at full forward, Bernie.
Yes, well it's either him or Starcevic down there, so it's they're mixing it up a little bit down on the forward line.
Bounce in the centre. There's been a free kick paid to Atkins, who's been fairly prominent. Had a quiet first half, but Atkins in the first 10 minutes of the third quarter has been in it for Collingwood. Mullane can't mark. Chance for Dixon. Oh, well gathered by Thompson. He's a cool player in a crisis, and he kicks the Bombers out of trouble. Danaher keeping his feet on the ground. Harrington's quick left foot kick towards half forward. Here's Thompson again for Essendon. Runs it through centre wing and kicks it up looking for his teammate, Captain Terry Danaher at half forward, and he doesn't let him down. A kick in short. The leading player is Salmon, and way out in front of Manson, Paul Salmon. Here's another loose player, Izzard. And Collingwood, well, they should hang their head in shame because there were too many Essendon players with too much space in that last exchange. Izzard get to kick a goal. 14 minutes gone. Comes in and punts. And punts truly. First goal to Izzard and 8th goal to Essendon. And whatever Collingwood can do anything, Essendon have the answers.
Yes, although really Collingwood have looked the better side in this third quarter. The changes that they've made with Cloak onto the ground, Mullane up onto that forward line, Manson to centre half back. They've really lifted their game, but they're still wasting a few opportunities.
And Daisy Williams back on the ground for Essendon. Peter Francis off. Merritt, crunch. Down goes Cloak. Well played, Roger Merritt. Through Izzard it goes, but he'll get the free.
It's been played up the field.
Brown standing the mark. Goes short. Salmon in front again. He's done it twice in a minute to Manson.
It was a great lead and a beautiful pass.
And really, Salmon looks a lot better up on the forward line than he has on the ruck. He's been disappointing in the ruck today, Salmon, but I do really believe that this is his position, full forward, and he should be left there.
Should be an easy goal, and that's the sort of kicking form that produced 63 goals in 13 games before he was injured when he fell across the leg of Jeff Rains. He was going to kick a century that year for sure. Free against Brown. And Izzard, when he took the kick, was easily able to find Salmon.
Essendon lead by 31 points. Just over the halfway mark of the third quarter. David Cloak doing the ruck work for the Magpies. Merritt up again. Cloak stands his ground. The free kick being paid to Keane. He plays on. Elshaw. High ball. Centre half forward. Izzard! What a mark! Plays on. Beats the handball to Barnes. Barnes' left foot shot for goal is online. And it's all Essendon. The Bombers 10-5-65 have opened up by far the biggest gap in the match so far. Collingwood 4-4-28. 37 points, and look at Alan Izzard.
He specialises in those ones, doesn't he, Robbo? We quite often see Izzard. He can really fly high. Here he is over to Barnes, who shows he can just kick him as well on the left foot as he can on the right foot. And he seems to be a fairly complete sort of player, Barnes.
Well, Izzard took the mark of the year at this ground last year when he jumped over Justin Madden to take a mark a bit like that. And just when Collingwood looked as though they were getting back into it, through an inspirational goal through Darren Mullane, the Bombers have hit back with 3 goals in a hurry. It comes to the back of the pack. Thompson leads Atkins and sees it safely out. Well, 65-28, and Collingwood have got to do it all again to try and get back into this. 17.5 minutes gone in the third quarter, and 10 goals to 4. You wouldn't really think that Collingwood have shown enough to give a glimmer of hope that they can come back. Winton plays well here and gets it out wide to Johnston. He's buried. Elshaw fumbles. And that's well picked up by Ryan. Shaw flies high. Thompson breaks away. He's caught by Atkins, still on the forward line for Collingwood. Dixon off the ground. Mullane at full forward. Fumbled by Duckworth. Great tackle. Down goes Walsh. Chance for Filkey. Smothered by Walsh to come back. Goes to Johnston. Bit of pressure in there. Oh, Thompson, almost off the seat of his pants, gets it out. Cloak a bit slow. Williams breaks away with it.
Williams caught, the play goes on. Chance for Hawker. Round onto the left foot. No nonsense. Glenn Hawker to centre half forward, and Terry Danaher takes the mark on his chest. A short pass to the opposite half forward flank. Folds. Inside 50 metres. Bang goes the big bomb. Barnes in the goal square. An easy goal to the Bombers, and there might be another kick. No, umpire Robinson has called all clear, and he reprimands young Keys because definitely Barnes had kicked the goal, but that goal stands at Essendon 11-5-71, lead Collingwood 4-4-28.
And here's clever play by Danaher. The play seemed to be the handball to the player coming past, but he cleverly switched it across to the other side of the ground where there was Folds running down by himself. And back in the goal square was Barnes waiting all by himself to kick his third goal.
And that's now 4 goals in 5 minutes to Essendon, who saw the threat coming and just put on the accelerator. Cloak out of the middle. Turner. Whoops, nearly marked his own soccer kick. Well done, Hamilton. Top one high from Banks. And Hamilton will take the free. Good running by Elshaw to give him the lead. They're kicking longer, Essendon. Danaher at centre half forward, thumps to Elshaw. Izzard. Rizonico hand pass to Brown, ducks a tackle, Fold starring, gets it out to Keane. Keane pops it wide for Salmon. Keys is marking Salmon, doesn't seem fair. Hawker. And the ball out of play.
Well, between about the 14-minute mark and the 20-minute mark of this quarter, Essendon have put the result of the match well beyond doubt, in my opinion. They lead 11-5 to 4-4. The ball at half forward for Essendon. Keane, snapshot for goal, is online. There's another one. It's an onslaught. Their 12th goal, 12-5-77. And they're nearly 50 points in front. 49 points the difference. Collingwood 4-4-28.
Really, it's amazing how a game can change so quickly, because both sides really struggled to get the goals on the board in the first half, and at the start of the second half they really struggled as well. But all of a sudden Essendon have piled on 6 quick goals and have really, as you said, have put the result of the match beyond doubt.
The Bombers have kicked 6-1 in this quarter to Collingwood 2-3. Cloak to Shaw. Up to centre half forward. Rain clouds approaching. That won't help Collingwood to fight back. Soccer up to the forward line. Wide open for Mullane. Hamilton comes at him. Well played, Mullane. He gets his second for the turn.
In a moment to last quarter action from VFL Park. It looked as though the game was all over bar the shouting, but it wasn't quite yet. First, though, the bad news of the day and a roundup of reports and injuries. And 4 reports to hand. Brian Wilson, that ill-fated Melbourne player, but there are the injuries firstly. Jamie Turner of Collingwood with a thigh. Brian Royal of Footscray at the MCG carried off with concussion. Leon Baker just back for Essendon, and it looks like he might be back out again with an ankle injury. Brian Wilson having a bad day, reported and badly injured, a broken finger, and the second star Melbourne player to cop that sort of injury, Robbie Flower, remembering earlier in the season, sustained one against North Melbourne in a night match. And Warren Jones, the big St Kilda ruckman, was the black spot on a great day for the Saints at Moorabbin with an Achilles injury. Reports Brian Wilson for unduly rough play. Stephen Dwyer, O'Dwyer, also of Melbourne, on a striking charge. The Big Dipper, Brownlow medalist, on a striking charge. And Shane Williams, who's at his 3rd VFL club, having just left the Cats to go to the Dogs, also reported on a striking charge. Well, Essendon and Collingwood, and they've had some great battles at VFL Park over the years. In recent times, in particular, in 1981, Collingwood went there having won their first 7 games of the season, met the Bombers, who were in the horrors, but Essendon won that match by a huge margin, 57 points. It was the end of a big winning streak for Collingwood, and it was the early part of Essendon's fabulous 15-game winning streak. They met there again in the 1984 preliminary final, when the Bombers won by a record 133 points. And they met there in round 12 last year, when the Magpies, after a terrible start to the season, were on a roll, and they caused a big upset by winning their 4th straight against Essendon, who were on the slide. But this is 87. Both teams went there in a bit of trouble, and it was the Magpies, as you've seen, in big trouble in the 3rd quarter. In fact, at the last change, they trailed by 44 points. We rejoin at the start of the last quarter.
Underway, the Bombers leading by 44 points, and you couldn't really see Collingwood coming back into it. They never tossed it in the 3rd quarter, though, and they might get their first goal in 30 seconds, and Atkins, hit the post. Well, he should have done better with that. It should have been a goal in the first 30 seconds.
Yes, you're right, Drew. For a senior player to miss one from that range, that's really unforgivable.
Duckworth kicks it into half-back, and a good mark taken by Roger Merritt. Fellows back on the ground for Collingwood. He and David Cloak have been interchanging. Merritt's kick finds Hawker. Hawker at half-back, kicks it up further to Folds. And Folds takes the mark at half-forward for Essendon. Transfers play towards centre-half forward, and the captain, Terry Danaher, takes a mark on his chest, and he's 3 or 4 metres in front of his opponent. Danaher's kick towards full forward, a big punch by Starkovic. Gafer there for Collingwood, kicks it out towards half-back, Harrington. Terry Danaher, not messing around. Izard in the pocket, a shoot for goal from 40 metres out, and he's offline. Kicks are behind for Essendon. Essendon 13-7-85. Lead Collingwood by 44 points. The Magpies 6-5-41.
On the bench for the Magpies at the start of the term, Wes Fellows and Michael Lockman. And for the Bombers, Leon Baker, who's been there since about the 1st quarter, and Peter Francis. Half-back, Dixon kicks into the tap. Merritt, ridden into the ground. There's Fellows back on. Sure, he started there, but within a minute and a half, he's back on the ground. Here's Merritt, up towards Danaher, unmarked in the forward pocket.
And really, it's been the experienced Essendon players that have lifted their game. And really, Collingwood have put in plenty of effort, but they just haven't had the experience there to back them up.
Danaher misses, so the Bombers have had 2 forays forward for 2 behinds through Danaher and Izard, and extends their lead to now 45 points. And those behinds, and at the other end, we saw Atkins hitting the post for Collingwood.
Starkovic kicks the ball into half-back, Member's side of the ground, and picks out Walsh. A tap on. There's a chance for Collingwood to get the ball out of the trouble zone. Mullane's high kick. No mark taken. Through comes Duckworth. Out of bounds, says the boundary umpire. And he may be penalised for this.
And he should be, Robbo, too.
I wonder whether he'd be reported for wasting time. No, just a reprimand. Duckworth goes back. and play has been slowed down sufficiently enough for the umpire and the players to take control. The throw in, here's a chance for Williams. Rounded to the left foot towards centre half forward. Mark has been taken for Collingwood by Cole. He plays on, feeds it to Gafer. Gafer looking for someone to kick to on centre wing. There's no one there except Essendon's Tony Elshaw. Elshaw picks himself up, kicks the ball long towards centre half forward. The ball between centre half forward and full forward at the back of the pack. Chance for Gafer. Comes clear, left-hand hand pass to Starkovic. Starkovic at half-back, looking for someone to kick to, and there's no one there. He kicks it high into the centre. Cloak, punched away. Chance for Christian. Kicks it off the ground, goes after it again, intercepted by Thompson. Thompson's kick off the ground is marked by Keane. 12 possessions in the third quarter to the young fellow. Kick towards centre wing's been marked by Foles.
Foles had quite a few possessions for Collingwood, but he's playing on Foles, who's doing better. On to Hawker, he steers it goalwards and misses to the right, just like Danaher did. Leading possession winner on the ground is Atkins, and with 16 kicks. Kick in, broadcast side, and an excellent mark to Danaher. I thought he was a bit quiet in the first half, but come good since then. Around the man on the mark, Brown. Up towards the goal square. Chance for the Bombers still. Bit of desperation. And the umpire will ball it up. We're approaching the 5-minute mark in the last term. 13-9 to 6-5. The Bombers with a comfortable lead, and Lockman about to come back on.
Umpire Lawler bounces the ball only 25 metres out from Essendon's goal. Dixon for Collingwood. A quick kick out of the pack towards the half-back line. Over the top, Hamilton couldn't control it. Walsh on the bottom. Taps on. Wallace, young player in his first match. Chance for Ryan. Ryan's quick kick into the centre. Can Collingwood break clear? Rosonico, poor effort. Kick off the ground. Cloak intercepts. Goes after it on all fours. A tap on. Chance for Banks. 3 Essendon players over the top of Dennis Banks. And he comes up with the football, but umpire Robinson will bounce right on the edge of the centre square as Jamie Turner goes off the field for Collingwood. And Michael Lockman comes on. Hamilton, quick kick out of the pack. Cloak gets his way through and kicks towards half forward. It's an awkward looking kick. There's only one player anywhere near it, and it's Roger the Lodger. He's quickly been tackled by Mullane. Goes after it again. Looking for the free kick. Fumbles it over the boundary line, and it's, well...
Yes, I agree with that one, Robbo. I called it, I made the gesture when he knocked it over the boundary line.
That is brilliant play by Mullane, who left his man in the goal square to run 70 metres to get there. Fantastic play. Chance here for the Magpies on the forward line. Merritt goes back to get another possession. He's holding the ball again. Not this time. That's a throw-in. Not a bad tackle by Atkins. Well worth a shout at the umpire. It's always worth a shout at the umpire.
Collingwood bench looking quite happy. Very, very glum faces. Ronnie Richards, Lee Matthews and Paul Cranage. The ball on the wing. Over the top by Filkey. Chance for Gafer. The bar of soap goes over to Fellows. Tony Shaw. Short right foot kick towards the opposite wing. Lockman slips through his hands. Fouls. Pushes the ball on. Chance for Elshaw. In front of Lockman. Goes after it again. Kick off the ground. Close to the boundary line. Another kick off the ground by Elshaw, but the boundary umpire deemed that it had gone over the line, and he will throw it in about 30 metres back where Tony Elshaw had his third kick at it.
Magpies not getting a score on the board, and they need plenty of scores. Brown up and down almost in the one spot. Thumped forward by Walsh. Lockman just back on, shrugs a tackle and puts it up towards half forward. Atkins, good mark with the slippery ball. He's got Rosonico clear infield. There he is, number 32. He went outside the centre corridor a bit to the forward pocket. And Duckworth, outside 50, out of bounds will do them. But in fact kept in, then on to Walsh, who was claimed by Banks. The umpire says there'll be a throw-in. Not a free kick to Banks. Just
a little bit of slow motion football then for the last 35 or 40 seconds. boundary throw in, 65 metres around from the Collingwood goal. Essendon struggling in defence. Cloak throws himself on the ball and umpire Robinson decides on a bounce. 87 plays 41. 8.5 minutes into the last quarter. And Collingwood looking down the barrel. Up high, Walsh. Cloak stands his ground. Good smother by Brown. Out wide it goes. Lockman can't break clear. He tries to crash his way through. Then a good bit of shepherding. Rosonico. Here's a chance now for Essendon. Mark Thompson. Umpire Robinson in the road. Atkins. Hand pass out. Filkey. Short kick into the pocket. Mullane's there. Recovers well. No, he can't quite grab it. In comes Ryan. Tapping it along in front of him. Dry weather football. Effective stuff by Hamilton off the ground. Wallace there for Essendon. Grabs the Collingwood player around the legs. That was Filkey. But umpire Robinson decides that no infringement had been done. And he shall bounce 55 metres out from Collingwood's goal.
Clever play by Ryan a couple of times then. Cloak gets it to Atkins well. High to the forward pocket. Mullane jumping, but Walsh over the top. And the ball out. Goalless final term so far. 9.5 minutes gone. And it's a 46-point lead to Essendon, who badly need this one to get back into form. They've got a couple coming back from injury too, including Mark Harvey, who broke a leg earlier on. Williams shrugs his way out of it. But the kick, Mark Christian at centre-half forward. He won't make the distance from there. And a very packed forward line. There's only four players in the other half of the ground. It's a good pass. And the mark to Brown. He's gained a reasonable amount of ground, but he's taken Brown out on about a 45-degree angle. Gavin Brown, 40 metres from goal, just about right over the goalpost, just missed. So still a goalless quarter, over 10 minutes played.
Bustling Billy Duckworth in towards Elshaw. Elshaw onto Hawker. Filkey for Collingwood. Tries to get around Thompson. Thompson grabbed the jumper. Filkey got the handball away. Up towards full forward Mullane. Well, he's an effervescent type, Darren Mullane. Always looks dangerous no matter where he's playing on the field. And perhaps Collingwood's only real goer up forward. He's already kicked 2 goals. Not a bad looking kick. It's straight through the centre. 3rd goal to Mullane. 7th goal to Collingwood. 7-6-48. They trail by 39 points at the 11-minute mark. Essendon 13-9-87.
And Darren Mullane's made a big difference up on that forward line. It's probably not a bad idea on a day like this where the high mark is pretty hard to take with a slippery ball, to have a player who can move around and lead as well as Mullane does. And here he is. He manages to get in front of his opponent, Billy Duckworth. And he's got an excellent spring too, Mullane. Beautiful chest mark.
Back in the centre. Free kick to Elshaw. Up towards centre-half forward. Danaher, a bit of a nudge. Keys from the side. Atkins in front. And he's getting plenty more possessions in the last quarter. Graham Atkins. Lockman with Keane. He bumped him off beautifully, Michael Lockman. To the hand pass a bit astray. Gaither. Caught by Williams. Loses it. Not Gaither, it was Brown. And the ball up just to the side of the centre square. 12.5 minutes gone, 87 plays 48, and Collingwood a couple of times have come back at this ground this year. They did it against Richmond and Carlton, but they need to string about 7 goals straight together to even get within cooey. And I'm not a dyed-in-the-wool Collingwood supporter, if you were alluding to that in the 3rd quarter.
The evening rise started at 100-1 last week and got the money. There won't be any 100-1 chances get up here. It's Collingwood struggling badly. Winton gets the ball out wide to Danaher. Danaher in towards centre-half forward. Merritt over the top, can't mark. Quick kick off the ground. Collingwood defence under a bit of pressure. Atkins, another possession. Out wide to Christian. Doesn't seem to quite go. Gets it to Fellows on the left foot. Kicks into the forward pocket area. Racing for the ball, Shaw. Coming out is Mullane. Oh, beautiful ball handling. Around onto the right foot. No, he doesn't. He gives it to Filkey. Filkey into an open goal. Has got it through. Well, a little fortunate because that ball was swinging through the air. And it goes through for Collingwood's 8th goal. 8-6-54. 13-9-87. 13 and a half minutes gone, and Gaither in trouble behind play, but the ball handling skills of Darren Mullane.
He's been fantastic since he's been moved up onto that forward line. He handled that greasy ball as if it was a perfectly dry day. Over to Filkey, the former South Australian player, and really Collingwood have put up a pretty good effort in this last quarter.
Centre square infringement, 3 to Collingwood. Fellows takes it, nobody really on mark. A mighty kick by Wes Fellows. Oh, mark! Tony Shaw, 40 metres out in front. Well, they've kicked the only 2 goals of the final term. It would need to be nearly Shaw's best kick to get home from there. Can they make it 3 in a row? It's a good one. Oh, it's home with plenty to spare. And the Magpies mounting a challenge. Can they do it again? The margin, 27 points.
Here it is again, Tony Shaw. And how did he mark that one in between Kevin Walsh and Bomber Thompson? But now we've got a game on our hands. It's been a great performance by Collingwood to get back into this match in the last quarter.
27 points the difference, just past the halfway mark of the last quarter. Collingwood in attack again. His chance for Brown. Oh, it slips through his hands. Unfortunate. Williams on the bottom of the pack for Essendon. And the umpire will come in and bounce. Nearly 15 and a half minutes gone. 28,085 people at VFL Park. Salmon taps it on. Chance for Gaither. In the hands of the trainers just a few minutes ago. His kick has found Ryan. Hang on, Johnston, and he does. 15-metre penalty brings Ryan up just inside the 50-metre line. And there's a Collingwood revival. They must remember a few weeks ago when they beat Richmond here. Ryan's kick into the pocket. No mark taken. Chance for Rosonico. On the bottom of the pack, Hamilton. Tony Shaw looking for a free kick. Oh,
he didn't do much to get rid of it, Hamilton.
No. Well, you don't see many free kicks given in that situation to forwards. And umpire Lawler will bounce.
The Collingwood fans really starting to find some voice. Thompson goes to Mullane, their best forward. Snap across his body. Too far, still in the field of play. Whew, was that a clash? Lockman charged into that pack. And the ball goes out of bounds in the forward pocket. And Collingwood doing all the attacking. 3 goals to nothing in this final term. But they still need 5 more to win. Cloak. Elshaw happy to tap it through for a behind.
Elshaw kicks it to himself, runs on, gets a little bit of space now. Johnston, inexperienced, runs away from Felkey and does it well, gets the hand pass over to Keane. Keane tackled by Brown when he didn't have the football. And a bit of a ticky touch with free kick, I feel, in these conditions.
Yes, he definitely knew the tackle was on and played for it. And really wasn't much in it at all.
Keane kick towards the wing area has been marked with strength by Fellows. 15-metre penalty.
Against Terry Danaher, who's been around long enough, so call it a professional free. Wes Fellows, 60 metres from goal. Well, he's kicked it out of bounds by 15. Free kick to Walsh. 87 plays 61, approaching the 18-minute mark in the last quarter. Comes to Hawker. Bang from half-back flank. All on his own is Dixon. Over the top, creating the loose man. Filkey goes as long as he can. Mullane's down there. He's been their star. But in defence, Duckworth, who is Mullane's opponent at the moment, there was a push out and the free's going to Walsh of Essendon. Surely not enough time left. Collingwood need 5 goals. We're at the 18-minute mark.
Well, Tony Shaw's showing young people how to find the mark. There's no way known Walsh could get away then. He's forced to kick towards half-back on the members' side of the ground, and it goes over the boundary line in front of Hawthorn and Atkins. 18 and a half minutes gone. Essendon lead by 26 points. 13-9 plays 9-7. Boundary throw in. Cloak in front, gets the tap out. Free kick being given, and it'll go to David Cloak. Just outside the 50-metre line. In short. Not a bad-looking pass, and Shaw. Bernie Quinlan claps as Tony Shaw takes a tremendous mark in front of Mark Thompson. And this will test his ability to kick a distance. Tony Shaw directly in front. Gives it a good thump. Gets the distance, but he's offline. Through from behind. 25 points the difference. 19 minutes gone last quarter.
Well, at least there's some excitement in the game at the moment. It's nearly the worst first half you could ever wish to see, or ever hope to miss. Walsh, Mark Payne. Floating hand pass for Elshaw. Real hospital ball, and Cloak had no trouble spoiling. And Elshaw was lucky to finish up with all his teeth there.
Really, that was a disgraceful handball from Kevin Walsh. He should be ashamed of himself there.
Boundary throw in, Cloak in front of Merritt. The big, strong men of football. Kick by Brown towards full forward. Mullane using his body. Oh, what brilliant football by Darren Mullane. He's kicked 3 goals, and if he can kick this 4th goal, it's his 24th possession, but more importantly, it'll bring Collingwood to within 19 points of the Bombers, and the 20-minute mark has just ticked by. Dazzling Darren Mullane comes in and shoots for goal. He's put it through. 4 goals to Mullane. And Collingwood, 10-8, 68. Trail Essendon, 13-9, 87. A different 19 points.
Here it is again, Mullane using his body really well up there against Billy Duckworth. Billy was more worried about his opponent than where the ball was. And sensational performance by Mullane. Great sliding chest mark.
Well, he won state selection as a wingman, Darren Mullane, and he's been a star at full forward. Can the Magpies get up? The fans yelling out, Collingwood. We're at the 21-minute mark. 3 goals, 1 behind. Fellows wins. That's a clog up in the middle. Essendon goalless in this last quarter. They managed 3 behinds at the start, but Collingwood have added 4 goals, 4. Merritt wins. Fumble by Elshaw, picked up by Brown. Hurried kick. Atkins drops one. Thompson out wide, wide open here for the Bombers. Keane on centre wing. Puts it high. They haven't been in this half of the ground for 10 minutes, Essendon. Out of bounds at half-forward flank.
Anxious Collingwood supporter. Only 22 minutes gone. Can your heroes get up? 19 points they trail by. Good tap out by Fellows. Williams. Folds. Kick over the left shoulder to half-forward. Punched away by the Collingwood defence over the boundary line for another throw-in. And it just takes up another few precious seconds for Essendon. The ball now only 25 metres around from Essendon's goal. Chance for Hawker. He tries to crush his way through. Salmon. Williams on the bottom of the pack. Gave for the tackler. And another bounce will take place. Only 17 or 18 metres out from the Essendon goal. Give me a little bit of space, says umpire Lawler. 19 points Essendon lead by.
Ducked out by Gafer. Williams kick smothered. Desperation Dixon. Collingwood need the ball in the field of play, but preferably at the other end. 23 minutes coming up, and the margin is 19 points. going to be impossible to get it out of this pack. Need a crowbar to prise them apart. Bet on the Essendon, well, I was going to say Collingwood free, but he's playing it to Danaher. Grabbed when he didn't have it. And, well, Bernie, you said they don't play those on the forward line. It's a tough one to give, isn't it?
Well, the free kick was there. I think that would have been... that is a fairly technical one, but I suppose you have to pay them if you see them, but I wish the umpires would be consistent with what they do on the forward line.
So Terry Danaher, the Bomber skipper, can steady them and get their only goal for the quarter. It's a beautiful kick. When you need experience, when you need class, it's never in better hands than with TV.
Yes, you summed it up pretty well, Drew. It's a pity when a free kick like that has to really make the difference between a close game where Collingwood's really making a charge, and really now it looks like time's run out for the Collingwood team. The tackle was there. He knocked the ball. Dixon knocked the ball out of his hands when he did tackle. May have held on a fraction too long, but really it's a pretty technical decision.
25 points now, the lead for Essendon. Chance for Collingwood to go forward. Kick out of that by Bailey, out towards the wing. A free kick being given to Essendon, and it'll go to Terry Danaher. His handball wide finds Johnston. Johnston back onto the left foot. Not a bad looking kick towards centre half forward. No one home for Essendon. And the mark taken by Lockman for the Magpies at centre half back. Time ticking away. We're nearly into time on. Lockman's kick towards centre half forward. Good mark taken by Merritt. A bit of strength. And the big fella goes back. And will punt this ball long out towards the wing. Leading out there is Salmon. One-handed mark. Over the top to Francis, back on the ground. Round onto his right foot. Kicks in short. And the mark taken over the top of the pack by Starkovic.
We're into time on by 23 seconds. Whistle's gone. 15-metre penalty. About 30 metres. And it'll have to go all the way back to Craig Starkovic. That's using up time. 25 and a half minutes. So not all that long to go. And Collingwood need 4 goals to win. That's how hard it is. Hamilton, hurried left footer, out wide, goes past Williams to Dixon. Puts it up wide, chance here for Christian. Same direction as the ball, but Thompson has been a star back there for Essendon. Somehow it comes back to Winton. A bumbled kick for the boundary line. That'll do you, son.
The lights have been on here at VFL Park since the start of the last quarter. 26 minutes gone. Cloak, a big thump towards the forward pocket area. Essendon under pressure. Hamilton. Banks doing the tackling. Ball close to the boundary line. Ryan taps it on. Bailey in there for Essendon. And another throw-in will take place about 55 metres out from the Collingwood goal. 93 plays 68, nearly 27 minutes gone. Hawker, a quick kick out of it. Izzard rather. Tony Shaw. Now a chance for Walsh. A quick kick up from half back towards the wing. A race for the ball. Here's a chance for Keys. He overruns it. Salmon throws himself on it. But it goes out for another throw-in on centre wing. And Keys in a bit of trouble. Looks like he may have hurt his calf muscle. Shin, is it? Boundary throw-in.
It's all over now. Baby blue. Elshaw will get a free kick. 27 and a half minutes gone. 93 plays 68. Gutsy comeback by Collingwood. It's a pity they spent the first half going round in circles. Fellows marks at half-back. Telling Izzard to get out of it. Good kick by Wes Fellows. Comes to the back. Chance for the Magpies. Cloak there. And to back him up Shaw. But Cloak interfered. And the free kick to Thompson. On they go. Elshaw in the middle, measures off pass to Francis. Another goal will just drive the final nail in. Here goes Folds, over the top. Danaher again, out wide but behind Keane. Lost ground with that one. Narrow angle. And just missed.
Well, one gets the impression there's a few tired guys out there.
Yes, it's been difficult conditions, and it's one of those days where it really takes it out of the legs.
Starkovic into the back pocket, Atkins. Over 20 possessions to Atkins. His kick finds Cloak at half-back, he plays on. Handballs to Gafer. Gafer's got a loose player on the wing in Lockman. Collingwood can't afford to waste any time. There's an Essendon player being flattened with the Shepherd. Rosonico, there's the Essendon player behind, looks like Elshaw, is it? At half-forward.
Yeah, Tony Shaw got him. It was a physical tackle from Tony Shaw.
Well, a couple of injured in the last couple of minutes because Keys has just left the ground, replaced by Manson. Here's Tony Shaw working out another kick, but it lands halfway to Merritt. And Tony Elshaw looks bad. They're signalling for a stretcher for him on the outer wing. Sliding mark taken by Keane. Slips off the hand pass well to Winton. Closing seconds of the game. Up over centre wing. Here's a chance for Hamilton. Pursued by Banks. Well done, Banks. Dixon. Good little toe poke up the ground. Kroll going past Starcevic. And maybe Collingwood will get the last goal of the match. It won't matter. Long kick to Cloak. Thumps to the back. That was like the old Richmond Premiership days, that. But it's intercepted by Merritt, who passes out wide well to Keane.
Merritt's done well in the last 10 minutes across that half-back line. There's the siren.
So Essendon taking the 4 points, but Collingwood salvaging some self-esteem in the second half. In the first half, they had more possessions, but managed only 3 scoring shots. Darren Mullane changed that, and here's what he says went wrong early.
Oh, well, I don't think we're playing direct enough at the moment. That's something we've got to work on at training. Obviously, we're going wrong somewhere, and we're just going to have to sort it out during the week.
What was Lee saying to you at quarter time and half time?
Oh, well, you know, he was sort of telling us that we were competing hard enough, which I thought we tackled fairly well, and we did pressure them a lot, but we just didn't seem to finish off after the hard work, and he just sort of told us to just keep going.
Well, his observations the same as ours. He had plenty of possessions. Sometimes you not only went sideways, you went backwards.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's what we're going to have to work on during the week.
And they've got a big one next week against St Kilda. Essendon wrapping the match up in the first 3 quarters, and Collingwood whittling away the margin from 44 points to 26 by the final bell. 3 goals to Barnes for the Bombers, 2 each to Salmon and Folds, and for Collingwood 4 to Darren Mullane and 2 to Grant Filkey. And also the Bombers with a big match coming up. They play Hawthorn at VFL Park next weekend. There's today's footy bet results. Essendon paying $2.75, Hawthorn likewise. Footscray only paid $3.75, surprises me. St Kilda, the big dividend, $8.95, and last night Fitzroy $4.20. The double today, 11 and 4, Essendon and Hawthorn $14.45, and a good quaddie, 11, 4, 10 and 4, $5,398.75. Now to the MCG, and shortly we meet Footscray's Peter Foster, but firstly some highlights of the match between Footscray and Melbourne. And skipper Robbie Flower equalled Brian Dixon's Melbourne record of 258 games, but the spotlight was quickly on Bulldogs spearhead Simon Beasley, who was in great touch. 3 marks in the first quarter, all netted goals. Irishman Sean White marked on the siren at quarter time, a spectacular one too, and his second goal enabled the Demons to lead by 5 points. But Brian Royal was devastating in the second quarter. 3 quick goals took Footscray to a 15-point lead at half-time. Just over 16,000 people saw Footscray scoot away through Maloney and keep Melbourne goalless in the third term. Memorable for fiery clashes. The first saw Greg Healy decked, and the second Brian Royal down and off. Flowers' milestone was a damp one, but 2 great grabs in the last quarter cut the lead to 12 points after this fine snap by Greg Healy. But Footscray steadied with goals to Foster and this one to Wallace, and the Bulldogs won by 24 points. There's the final score, 15-15 to 11-15. Melbourne's winning run coming to a halt. A good performance by Beasley, 5 goals. Royal kicked 4 before being crashed out of the game, 2 to Foster, and for Melbourne, 3 to White, 2 each to Bailey and Greg Healy. And our studio guest tonight is Footscray's new state player, former Fitzroy player who's had bad luck with injuries over the last couple of years but has staged a great fight back in 1987. I'm speaking of Peter Foster. And Peter, I suppose of the pleasure of state selection and of a win today, you probably would have taken the latter. Most players seem to talk in those terms.
Yes, I was very impressed with the win, of course, as the players all rallied together, and obviously state selection's a great thrill too as well.
Well, it's been a long career and a bit of a bumpy one for you, with not as many games as a player would have liked to have played over a long period of time. Why has this year been different?
Oh, I suppose I've been given the opportunity to play at centre-half forward today, and I suppose I enjoyed that at the end of the day, obviously getting a few marks around the ground. I've been playing centre-half back early in the year, but just the players around me, I suppose, have been giving me more confidence, and I've grown in confidence myself over the last few weeks, so hopefully the confidence keeps going through the rest of the year.
And responsibility, I suppose. With the
responsibility, yes, that's got a lot to do with it. I mean, I've got to start to realise that I'm, I suppose, one of the older players in the team, and I've got to take more responsibility on myself, I suppose.
You said you played at centre-half forward. When did you find out that you were going to be in the hardest job in the business?
Yeah, last night about 8 o'clock the phone call come through, and centre-half forward. It's a concentration game, centre-half forward. You've really got to concentrate and lead the right way, and obviously kick a couple of goals, which I was thrilled a bit about doing.
Did you mind being shifted up the ground?
Oh, no, it didn't really worry me. It's a funny position, centre-half forward. If you do well, you do well. If you don't do so well, you'll obviously go right down. But I was lucky enough to get a few marks early, and I'm catching the ball pretty well, so I'm pretty happy.
And you had another handy key forward today in Simon Beasley.
Yeah, Simon's leading strong and aggressive, and that's what Footscray need all the time. And the boys put the ball to him pretty well, and he kicks very straight when he does kick. So.
Well, it's a surprise result because Melbourne had been looking good. Did you go into it feeling pretty sure you might be able to pull it off?
Yes, boys been trained very well during the week. Teddy Whitten, senior, spoke to us on Thursday night, and I think shaped a few of the young fellas up and a few of the old fellas. So I think, we went into the game fairly confident, and I don't think Melbourne is as good as what they think they are.
And EJ have a bit of influence still out at the Western Oval?
Yeah, the old hair on the back of the neck stands up when EJ speaks to you, yeah.
Fire and brimstone?
Yes, fire and brimstone, well and truly, yeah.
What about Brian Royal? He's been in tremendous form, but carried off. Is it a serious one?
No, just a slight concussion, which is great because he was really tearing apart early in the game, so Brian will be right for next week, not a problem.
Well, good luck on 2 counts, Peter. Hope you get in the state team, and good luck to the Scraggers, who are 13th, but with 3 wins. We were just discussing you're only a couple of games out of the 5.
Not far away, so hopefully next week against the Bears at home we'll show them what it's all about.
Well done. Good luck. Well, now to Moorabbin, and there was a suspicion that the Southern Saints might just trouble the West Coast Eagles on heavy going. The Eagles, of course, top of the ground specialists, and after a fair bit of rain in Melbourne during the week, we would have been very surprised if Moorabbin had been hard and fast today. Well, it didn't seem to trouble the Eagles early. They jumped out of the blocks in great style with 5 goals in the first quarter, but the Saints held them goalless in the second term, and in fact by the long interval had gained a 3-point lead. We joined the action at the start of the second half. Our commentators from Broadcom, Bob Skilton and Peter McKenna.
Scoreboard showing 3 points the difference. 6-6-42 St Kilda at the beginning of this third quarter. The West Coast Eagles 5-9-39.
Keane got the tap, kicked off the ground by Zanotti. Lamb coming through, collides on that occasion with Nixon. No free kick though. Pack forms, and umpire Harris comes in to throw the ball up just in front of the St Kilda players' race, which is on centre wing. Keane and Jones. Jones gets it down, taken now by Lamb, across to Renstead. Renstead gives the hand pass back to Lamb. A quick kick up towards half forward. Punched away that time from McConville. It comes out now towards Malaxos. He can't trap the ball. The pack forms, and the umpire will come in. Robert Neal is there, and we'll find a throw-in to take place. Robert Neal wearing his old number 35. Was number 36, but with David Grant swapping that and taking number 6, he's got his number that he wore at Geelong. Cunningham's kick was smothered. Lewis trying to keep the ball in play. Does tap it back. Cunningham taps the ball onto Gamble. Gamble shows a good turn of speed, drives in towards the centre, but Turner's in the way. This is a sitter. Lamb comes through, tried to tap the ball on, tapped out towards Winmar. He kicks it off the ground. Worsfold onto Malaxos. Malaxos got a hand pass back, didn't look where he was putting it though. Burke picks it up to St Kilda, drives it down. It's all St Kilda. As Owen's got it, he's got Lockett down there. Gives a hand pass across towards Marcoux. Marcoux into the open goal, hits the post.
Well, believe it or not, I think Ian Owen should have kicked it to Lockett in the first place, who ducked back on his own, and Alex Marcoux eventually hand passed to him, and Marcoux from point-blank range hit the post. So that was a bad miss to the Saints. 4 points the difference in favour of St Kilda as the kick comes out towards half-back. Keane couldn't take the mark. It's knocked away by Grant. In they go after it. There's Dean Turner dispossessed of the football, and the umpire said it was too high on Dean Turner. He'll take the free kick on the half-back line. Turner has battled hard today under these adverse weather conditions. Certainly the Eagles not used to these conditions as he brings it towards centre wing. Now they'll get plenty of that in the Melbourne winter when they come over here, the Eagles. So a lot different to playing over in the West, as we see Gamble, who started off the game very, very well under pressure, puts it out of bounds on the full.
I don't know, this is dry compared to the last game in the West.
Yes, but I think there was more water than mud over there, wasn't it?
Yes, there was. It's off the hands of the pack. Gastev puts it up towards the forward area. Can Wiley get there? Wiley comes in. Books, snaps over the shoulder. Doesn't go towards goal, but it's a mark nonetheless. As Zanotti had come right down the ground. And I wonder whether Zanotti might even be on the ball as Miles is at centre half back. Lamb, Lockyer, Mainwaring across the back line. Worsfold, Miles and Brennan. So Zanotti could be on the ball.
Well, it'd be a good move if he is, because he's a racehorse and they need a bit of bite round the packs.
Zanotti puts it through the centre. One goal to Mark Zanotti. Zanotti kicks his first goal. And a good move to put Zanotti into play. As on replay, we see Wiley. Blind turn, snap towards goal. Across it goes, and Zanotti stood his ground well.
Well, a very handy one to start the third quarter. It gives the Eagles the lead by 2 points when St Kilda were doing the attacking in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Renstead out wide. Nathan Burke was the number 48. 57 is Rice. Renstead to Holmes. Wiley doing some good shepherding. Lewis pops one high around the head. Could have received a free kick. Rice is there though. Oh, bad hand pass to Neil, holding the man. It must be to Malaxos. And I don't think you should argue about that one, Scratcher, because that was a definite free kick to Steve Malaxos on centre wing. He brings it towards the pocket. Glendinning is shuffled out of it. Gastev is there. The umpire saying it was not in the back. And against Ricky Nixon, so the throw-in will take place at the 50-metre line, half-forward flank. Now, Wal Jones against Scott. I've been impressed today with Scott with his strong physical work. And that was a lovely hit-out too. Nixon was there. Malaxos, a hand pass. Anir was grabbed. Umpire called play on. Now, was that in the back? Against Scratcher Neal again to Dean Turner. Good use of the body by Turner. Play on as the umpire said he ran over the mark. Towards half-forward, Joffa Cunningham couldn't take the mark. Ricky Nixon crashes his way through the back. A hand pass. Malaxos has battled hard today. A lovely hand pass to Dean Turner. And Turner with a floating kick up towards Lewis. Lewis fisted away. Glendinning's there. Pounces on the ball, and the umpire will come in and throw it up.
The throw up to take place across the half-forward line for the Eagles, who hold a 2-point advantage 7 minutes into the third term. Lovely tap by Jones. Coughlin got the ball through. Cunningham couldn't quite take possession. Holmes picks it up, is dispossessed. The pack is forming just as Cunningham picked the ball up. The umpire had already blown the whistle. And so this time we'll find the ball thrown up about 50 metres out from the West Coast Eagles goal. Jones again wins the tap. His ruck work's been good today. It's picked up by Burke. Burke in towards the centre, and low in front takes the mark. Wanted to get the ball moving. He's looking for a hand pass. Now he puts the ball out wide. Mainwaring taps the ball away, but it's Burke who hand passes on to Peter Budge. Running through, puts the short pass in. It's a lovely pass. And Tony Lockett with the opportunity as Ron Alexander doesn't look too impressed with the situation at the moment. And Tony Lockett, who has already kicked 3 goals. St Kilda trailing by 2 points, so if Lockett can kick truly, 3 goals, 4 on the board so far. So it's Tony Lockett. 30 metres out. The kick from Lockett. Swinging back for 4 goals. No, sorry, I thought it was a goal the way the umpire was there. So it's 3 goals, 5 to Tony Lockett.
And Ian Owen tried to con the umpire then, but he was having none of that as Lockyer. Oh, short pass from full back. Rod Owen, I should say. What did I say? Ian Owen. This is a former Richmond player. Nicky Winmar from the 50-metre line has a chance for a goal. It floats, and a great goal to Nicky Winmar. 2 goals to that particular player, and that was a poor kick by Andrew Lockyer. He went for the short pass, was misdirected. Winmar took the mark, and a lovely kick results in a goal as we see in replay.
Winmar kicks from 50 metres out, and that's a lovely kick by Winmar. In these conditions, it's worth at least 70. Kicked off the ground by Greg Burns, down towards the half-forward line. Worsfold kicks it off the ground, and Owen runs after for St Kilda, picks the ball up beautifully, swings back onto the left foot, straightens up, drives it down, looking for Lockett, but out in front is Lockyer. Comes after the game, kicks it off the ground, out towards the Noddy, who can't handle the ball cleanly. Over the line it goes. A throw-in to take place. So marks the Noddy. Could be on the centre wing now, as it comes towards Robert Neal. Neal with the left foot down towards the forward line. Lockyer comes out, it's tapped over the top by Marcoux. Kicked off the ground, over the line it goes, but not on the full, so a throw-in will take place. Forward pocket for St Kilda, with St Kilda leading by 5 points, 50 to 45. St Kilda have a better marking average for this year, as Lockett couldn't take it. Tackle too high against Winstead, and Murray Winstead will come out with the free kick. Winstead goes across the ground, Mainwaring's there, a hand pass out to Lockyer, over the top to Brennan. Brennan now from half-back, drives it up towards the half-forward line. Danny Crawley used his body too well, according to the umpire, and the free kick goes to Ross Glendenning. Crawley not very happy about that decision, but Glendenning drives it long, down towards the forward area, punched away by McConville. St Kilda's defence really tightened since early in that first quarter, and now, much to the delight of the St Kilda fans, a free kick to Joffa Cunningham. Cunningham hooks the ball in towards the centre, low in front, it's punched away. Winstead tried to kick the ball off the ground, Wiley comes through, Burns does kick the ball off the ground, it's tapped wide by Keane, kicked off the ground by Anea, up towards Glendenning, who tried to tap the ball back. Doing a good job there was David Grant, trapped the ball well, and the former Tasmanian, David Grant, comes out and causes a bounce to take place.
Centre half forward for the Eagles. They're not looking very impressive in this quarter. They really need a couple of quick goals. McConville, a high tackle by Gasquet right around the neck. Peter McConville, he doesn't mess around, he gets on with the game. Over to Cunningham. Cunningham further afield to Coughlin. Coughlin, good skills by Coughlin. Up towards half forward, and the marker, beautiful hand pass across to Neal. Neal to Lockett, and Lockyer has got no idea at the moment, no idea whatsoever on how to play Lockett. He was completely caught out of position. A beautiful pass admittedly came across. Tony Lockett's kicked 3-5 and a chance to kick his 4th. Well, Tony Lockett is playing a beautiful game at full forward. He's leading at the right time. He's giving a moving target for his teammates coming down the ground, and the only thing that's let him down today has been his kicking. Lockett from 30 metres, shocking kick. Admitted,
Lockett normally, Pete,
is one of the best kicks for goal in the league. And he's kicked 3 goals, 6, and didn't even look. But it's not as easy as it might look on camera, because out there with sticky conditions and a heavy ball, you don't quite get that firm footing.
Underfoot, it's not quite as easy as it looks, as you say, Pete. Zanotti at the back. Kicks the ball up the ground. Over the boundary line it goes. St Kilda fans looking for a free kick, but there isn't any such rule. It could be indiscriminate kicking or dangerous, but it wasn't on that occasion. Jones against Keane. Jones gets a tap. Wiley taps the ball onto Ania. Ania now favouring the drop punt with the left foot, puts it up towards centre-half forward, and it's Danny Frawley who comes out in defence. Frawley puts it wide.
Glendenning to full back on Lockett.
McConville in towards Burke, and the youngster takes a timely mark. Burke goes wide. Peter Budge is out there. Marcoux giving the lead. Peter Budge goes short though. Nicky Winmar, a great effort, couldn't take the mark. Brennan to Mainwaring. He got the hand pass in. Through comes Holmes. A hand pass out wide, finds Malaxos. He puts the ball up towards half forward. Gastev was up high but couldn't take it. The loose ball comes through to McConville. The hand pass wide. Nixon takes the ball away for St Kilda. Up towards half forward. Peter Budge took it. Got it on towards Winmar. Winmar hand passes. Then is held. And so he will take the free kick. Nicky Winmar, midway between centre wing and half forward. A hand pass across to Robert Neal. Neal puts it down looking for Lockett, but in the way is big Laurie Keane. Surely that no advantage rule should have been paid there. It's 10 minutes after. Zanotti picks the ball up well. Drives it down there, but once again McConville firming defence. Playing a magnificent game, Peter McConville. Goes short, finds Danny Frawley.
The Eagles are very poor up forward, Bob.
They are today, as Frawley puts it wide. Young Burke covering a lot of territory. Couldn't quite bring that one in. And it was over the boundary line on the full before Burke could get to it. Ania towards centre-half forward. Jones stands his ground and takes a timely mark, but don't do that, Warren. You could have it taken off you.
Well, there's Jones kicking it wide, and he's got the loose man there in Codlin. Frank Codlin from half-back towards half-forward. Lowe takes the mark over to Winmar, and Nicky Winmar races into the open goal. He stabs. It wasn't touched. Doesn't matter anyway. I think it was, but it went the wrong side of the post. There's no doubt about Glendenning. He's got that great class. He always does the right things at the right time. The scoreboard shows 6-9 to 7-10, so that's 7 points the differences. No mark, said the umpire. 7 points, of course, in favour of St Kilda. Zanotti, not having a good day, Mark Zanotti, but he copped that one right in the middle of the back. He's not handling that wet ball well at all, Mark Zanotti. That's a dangerous pass, a shocking pass. Cunningham takes the mark. Up he goes, loses the ball. Coughlin's in there after it. Malaxos has been a real try today. Gets it towards centre wing with David Grant. Ducks back to take the mark. Off he goes. He's got his captain in the centre of the ground. Danny Frawley streaks down the ground. They're really falling down up forward, the Eagles. Lockett flies. Glendenning fists the ball away towards the line. There's 2 Saints players though. Peter Budge, beautifully done by Peter Budge. Great play. Oh, fisted away. Back it comes to Laurie Keane. He picks it up at half-back. Doesn't get caught with the ball. Kicked away by Miles towards half-back. This is a torrid contest at the moment. Grabbed by Nathan Burke after a quick hand pass by Coghlan. Now it's the captain. He might kick a goal as he goes for the long kick down towards Lockett. He's got it! Great play, Frawley, and great play, Lockett. The top mark, he beat 2 West Coast Eagles defenders about 20 metres out from goal.
A magnificent piece of play by Lockett. Stood his ground well, kept his eye on the ball, and juggled it. A magnificent mark, and surely he cannot miss this one. 3 goals, 6 he's kicked so far out of 7 goals, 10. 7 points the advantage in favour of the Saints, and this could really lift the Saints if, and I'm sure that Lockett will kick this one.
It'll give them a 13-point break. Goals are hard to come by today, Bob.
The Eagles have only kicked 1 since quarter time, as Tony Lockett, 20 metres out, right through the centre. 4 goals to Tony Lockett, 4 goals, 6 in fact, of 8 goals, 10. 58-45, 13 points the margin on replay. The Saints skipper, Danny Fawley, drives the ball forward. Worsfold attempted to take the mark, should have come over the top and tried to punch the ball away, but didn't do so. And we see a great shot of Tony Lockett taking the mark.
Glendinning slipped too, it certainly didn't help. Centre bounce, or throw up in fact. Don't tell me forwards don't make a difference. Put Lockett at the other end and it'll make a big difference, that's for sure. As we see, that was Burns getting it down to Marcoux. Marcoux and half-forward flank, they're really alive at the moment. The Saints, they got the snip of victory. Winmar, oh, cleverly done. Off balance. He picked out Scratch O'Neill on half-forward flank. Now Lockett's about to lead. He leads to the right position. He led to the centre. Glendinning will come over the back. Taps it away. Dean Turner rode beautifully at the back of the pack. Up the side of the boot. Oh, Renstead's got to do the high flying against 4 Saints players. Jeff Cunningham crashes his way through. Winmar's been an excellent player. Back it comes to Cunningham from Winmar. Cunningham onto the left foot, out wide, and he finds Alex Marcoux, who marks about 55 metres from goal. Now, Lockett's the focal point. He's calling for it. Now it's up high, but he's got Glendinning to beat, and Glendinning read that beautifully. Ducks back to take an easy mark.
So Ross Glendinning, back pocket at the present moment, hasn't got a lot to kick to, has to go short, and finds Don Holmes. And the Eagles' small players have been quite Peter Budge up over the top. Mark for mine. Daryl Baldock, and it's a Whitehead St Kilda fan. That was an excellent mark by John Peter Budge.
He's played well, Bob.
Yes. There it is again. Well worthy of it. 45 metres out. Goes for the short pass to Lockett. Peter McKenna nodding their head.
Oh, I can't believe that they would allow space for the full forward. Tony Lockett is playing brilliantly. To allow him that space, the backman was a disgrace in my book.
I agree with you. I think it's the ruckman's job, the rover's job, the ruck rover's job.
Yep.
All to fill that space. As Tony Lockett lines up. And it's goal number 5 to Tony Lockett.
Well, that's a great performance by the big full forward. 5 goals. Trevor Barker in the crowd there, and we'd be proud of the big full forward. But there's a good performance by the Saints. 9-10-64 to the West Coast Eagles. 6-9-45. And they're playing much better football under these conditions in the West.
They certainly are, Pete. 1 goal 4 since quarter time the Eagles have kicked. Keane, beaten for the tap. It's picked up again by Burns, having a picnic in the centre. Marcoux couldn't quite take it. Coming across and being held was John Peter Budge. He's held again for mine. Taps the ball wide. Lockett comes in, shows strength, dives in after it, maintains it in the forward line. St Kilda playing much better football than the Eagles at the present moment. They're taking the game not up to, but away from the West Coast Eagles.
Well, they'll be a very good side, the West, if they can come back from it, because they've got a lot of players down. Redstead has been a very quiet player, and I think they would normally rely on him for 30 or 35 possessions in a game. Bob?
Good team effort so far by St Kilda. Tight defence, players all over the ground doing well. Smothered, tapped on by Brennan. Winmar, who's played an excellent game, doing well. The loose ball comes out to Holmes. The hand pass wide to Worsfold. Worsfold puts the ball up towards the centre wing, and bam, Miles, I should say. I thought it was a number 5 as Miles slid through. Now playing up on the forward line. Miles puts the ball forward. Ashenko, 2 attempts, taps the ball on. Gamble kicks the ball off the ground. Burns is there for St Kilda. Can't quite handle it cleanly. Kicked the ball off the ground, hoping for Gamble to go after it. Renstead was there. Umpire Clayton indicating that they'll throw the ball up. Great tackling by St Kilda. They just won't allow the Eagles to break clear. 19 points, the advantage held by the Saints as John O'Neill puts the ball forward. St Kilda players everywhere as Nixon gives it across McConville. Over the top it comes to Burke. Nathan Burke drives the ball forward, punched away, picked up by John Peter Budge. Winmar comes through, tackled beautifully, and is penalised.
tackle. Terrific tackle by Andrew Lockyer, and fully deserved that free kick as he's got at centre-half back. But their big problem has been absolutely their lack of forwards. Here's a chance, though, for Dwayne Lamb, who's had a fairly quiet day. Also, he's been one of their stars in recent weeks. Over to Malaxos. He's almost been their best player. He chips it across. Now a chance for Ischenko. Was it a mark? No. Main Waring goes in after it. McConville has been a good player. Tackled by Lewis, and the umpire said it was held to him right in front of the Eagles' goal. If the Eagles could get even a goal, it would give them a bit of heart, and maybe they'd be right back in it. At the moment, 3-3 under these conditions. Not a bad lead, but certainly not impossible to catch that up in a short period of time. There's a hand pass coming out to Cunningham. Cunningham kicks wide. He's got Grant there. David Grant takes the mark, and from half-back, and being a Tasmanian, he'll be used to these conditions. Up towards, oh, that's a free kick to Neil. Yes, no doubt about that. That was interference when the ball wasn't within 5 metres, and Robert Neal takes his kick on centre wing.
So Neal, veteran of 203 league games, drives it up towards half-forward. Worspool was up, well rode by Marcoux. Threw the ball out. Should have been penalised, actually.
Very lucky.
Alex Marcoux was still in possession. A bad decision for mine, but here he is with a free kick nonetheless. Marcoux, the lead from Lockett, straight onto the chest of Lockett. Tackled too high against Lockett. And Glendenning, I don't think Glendenning can run with Lockett.
No, I tell you what, this is a classic full forward display by Tony Lockett. I reckon it's fantastic to see. Instead of just blazing away a goal and hoping someone will take a mark, there is Lockett leading out.
Is there any other position on the ground? All you ever talk about it.
Well, look, he's the difference between the sides. You put him up the other end, it'll make an enormous difference, Bob. And Lockett, 5 goals, leading beautifully. And there's another one. 6 goals to the big full forward in a great display.
An excellent display by Tony Lockett. Is a real focal point for the Saints. On replay, Alex Marcoux drives it down. Lockett probably should have taken the mark, but he caught one too high from Dean Turner anyway. And the result, the 6th goal to Tony Lockett. Glenstead takes the ball out of the centre, kicked off the ground by Nixon. Out wide the centre wing. Owen sliding after it. Desperately dives in there. It's in underneath Owen. And the umpire has a little bit of wrestling, a little mudslinging, a bit of pushing in the face.
I'll tell you what, John Worsfold's knocked backward in coming forward. He copped one in the face there, but he came back hard too. Good on him.
Only a youngster too, John Worsfold.
He's a real goer.
18 years of age, formerly from South Fremantle. David Grant tried to get it through to Burns. Burns, almost like a fend-off on rugby, running the line.
Doesn't he love these conditions, Bob? Hey, a real workhorse. Oh, Keane cops it over the neck on centre wing, but a lot of the Eagles players have not contributed today. They've been very, very quiet. A lot of their really good players of recent weeks, and I'm sure that they're going to get a depth of the Melbourne conditions of play. As we see the ball half-forward point, of course I refer to the wet. There's Ricky Nixon. That St Kilda backline has been absolutely superb, particularly since quarter time. Winmar has been an excellent player. Laurie Keane. A hurry kick, Ischenko underneath the ball. McConville's had a brilliant quarter across that half-back line. He's dominated.
The second quarter was excellent as well.
4 goals.
But the whole back line have knitted together as a tight unit.
I'll say, Frawley setting a fine example down there too. Cunningham is there. He's had a good quarter. A strong tackle by Main Waring. And the umpire said too high, and it is McConville again. Playing on, a hand pass to Winmar. Got a ton of toe too. Look at him go. Ran about 15 metres and kicks it long. Yes, it was a good kick. Lamb drops what he should have taken. It's grabbed by Burns, and shrugs off Galaxos. Over to Neil. Neil, a hurry kick. Here's danger. Oh, Glendinning. Oh, almost through that one. Oh, great play. Lockett. Over to Marku. Marku to Low. That was top play by Lockett, and it results in a goal to Stuart Low. What good team play that was. And
so the Saints having a great win down at Moorabbin. They went to three-quarter time leading by 31 points and came right away to win by 48. Their second win on the trot. They haven't done that too often in recent years. Tony Lockett kicked half their goals, a great tally of 7 in difficult conditions, 2 each to Owen and Winmar for the winners, and all single goal kickers for the West Coast Eagles. And note that the Eagles kicked a paltry 1 goal after quarter time. Here's Daryl Baldock's analysis of the Saints' great defensive effort.
Well. Yeah, well, you know, I thought we allowed them to be in the game at half-time, to be quite frank. I thought we had the opportunities to be further ahead at half-time. We weren't. And I said, right, fellas, we just can't have a repeat of what's happened a couple of weeks ago, where our third quarter has let us down a couple of times. And, you know, they had to start the game again. And I thought they played it very well the last half, even though we still made a few errors. You know, if we can keep rectifying some of the errors that we've got and building confidence as it goes, you know, we'll worry a lot of sides, particularly down here.
A couple of your experienced players getting back into a bit of form, particularly Burns.
Yes, well, Greg, of course, is a great player, and he's a player who had interrupted pre-season, but the last couple of weeks he's back to what Greg Burns can do.
Your use of Tony Lockett, the boys really did look for him today and dispose of the ball well. It must be great to have someone, a key forward, to fire up.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. You know, our forward line has been very good. Both Stewie, Lowy and Tony, of course, is a sensational player. You know, he could be anything, and I think he'd even be better if we could play him centre-half forward, to be quite frank, because he's so mobile for a big player.
Who was Doc's friend in the background there? No one I knew. Well, to mark of the day, and with last night's match played in fine conditions and today's 4 in anything but, I suspect it might be mark of the night. First today, St Kilda's Mark Gamble, eventually in one hand.
Puts the ball forward. Oh, that's a lovely mark. Great effort there.
Another one-hander, Peter Curran.
Coming across the face of the pack. Takes the mark.
And another, Collingwood's Michael Christian.
Switches all over the ground as you'd expect with Cheedy. That is a fantastic mark, taken by another West Australian, Michael Christian.
Dermot Brereton says 2 hands for beginners. Fellow Hawk key forward, Jason Dunstall.
Dunstall, great mark. Jason Dunstall wrestled clear of Cleve, who was holding him back, and still took the mark.
Alan Izard, where he took mark of the year last year. And perhaps mark of the year this year, Warwick Kappa under the lights last night, a screamer. It really reminds me of that famous photograph of the great John Coleman against North Melbourne back in the early 1950s. Great mark by Kappa. Well, our roundup now, today's winners with 4 matches played following the 1 game last night in Sydney, which Fitzroy won by 29 points. Essendon home today by 26, Hawthorn by 47, Footscray in an upset by 24, and something of an upset, St Kilda beating West Coast Eagles by 48 points down at Moorabbin. Round 8 is not complete with 2 matches still to come. Sydney on top of the table still, but Carlton with the chance to go to the top on percentage, a much better percentage now than the Swans if they can beat North Melbourne tomorrow. Hawthorn and Fitzroy up in 3rd and 4th, and Essendon moving into the 5 at Melbourne's expense. But St Kilda making progress. Last week they climbed from 14th to 12th, and this week they've climbed from 12th to 10th, and the asterisk teams with matches to come tomorrow. Tony Lockett is the new leader on the goal-kicking table with an outstanding 7 today for a total of 40. Warwick Kappa got 6 last night for 38, and Doug Barwick, last week's leader, was restricted to 1 last night for a 36 total. Dunstall climbed with 7. Kernahan plays tomorrow. Taylor out suspended. Lindner got 3. Osborne, Ablett and Royal all got 4 goals. Well, now to goal of the day, and also in the fine conditions in Sydney, some tremendous goals last night.
Just below where the buds join on. There's the buds. Those leaves can come off. And then we take our cutting round about that long, and then our cutting That could go out into the open ground, a little bit of sand around there, and that would strike quite well. If you get into November, the best time, I think, to take cuttings is November. You would always take tip cuttings, and that would be your tip cutting. Hardwood cuttings now, tip cuttings like that in November. Have a look at your Heidi bushes now. Go out and have a look at them, and I think you might see that they want pruning right now. Do what I told you, and you'll have very good flowers this coming spring, summer. Okay, I look forward to seeing you next week. Cheerio.
I haven't lost my sanity at all at any stage. I kept hold of my sanity. Even though I was going through hell, I kept my sanity. Even though I was a raving idiot, I kept my sanity.
To Hell and Back, a compelling study of schizophrenia. Next on Four Corners.
There are many highlights in this lifelong Demon's career. His first VFL match in '73, getting into the state team on no less than 15 occasions, playing games 100 and then going on to 200. This club record is something special.
Now to break a club record, I suppose it's a personal thing, but certainly an achievement in my books, because I haven't had the opportunity to play in a finals game, and maybe when I retire and I haven't played in the finals, and I've got something to say that, well, that's my record.
Yes, a big day for Robbie Flower as he breaks the Melbourne club record, a long way from home, way over in Perth. Welcome to our telecast of the West Coast Eagles against Melbourne over in Perth. And also during the afternoon, we'll be keeping you up to date with the match at Cardinia Park today between Geelong and the Sydney Swans. Shortly across to Perth, but just quickly to introduce our guest. Thanks for joining us in the studio, Brownlow medalist Brian Wilson.
Thanks very much, Stu. Pleasure to be here.
Well, I suppose it's one way of seeing the team, but you'd rather be out there.
I certainly would, but if there's any way I'd rather watch it, I guess it's in here today.
Good on you. We'll see you at quarter time. Our commentators in position over in Perth, leading up the team, Tim Lane, and with him Kevin Bartlett and Doug Hayward. Here's Tim.
Thanks very much, Drew. A very good afternoon and welcome once again from our commentary position at the Subiaco Oval. Happily to relate, it's another beautiful Perth day, not like that Friday night we were here a couple of weeks ago when the Eagles played their last home game against the Brisbane Bears. Today the temperature in the low 20s, lovely blue sky, and there's no place like Perth. So they tell me on days like this. I'm inclined to agree. Well, sitting next to me, the man who's played more VFL games than any other, Kevin Bartlett, 403 to be exact, and you were just telling me that you broke Jack Dyer's long-standing and great Richmond record on the SCG. And I guess it's a funny feeling to do it so far from home.
Well, I certainly felt a little bit strange, Tim, when I broke Captain Blood's record at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and as Robbie Flower ran out then, it did take me back to that particular day, because I'm certain that Robbie would have loved to have broken Brian Dixon's club record, 259 games today, at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, or maybe on one of the traditional grounds, but certainly it is a great thrill for him today to run out and actually break that record after having so many injury problems in the last couple of years.
Well, having done that yourself, I suppose your view of this sort of thing is fairly subjective, but does it generate a winning spirit on the day of such a big individual event?
Well, it certainly helps, Tim. There's